What's good, chat? What's good? It's your brother, none other than Metal Gear Mister. Y'all know I had to pull back up on y'all, man. Y'all know the last time we was here, we had to listen and react to J. Cole's The Fall Off album. And y'all see, some of y'all who were in here, y'all saw my reaction. Um, I had an honest reaction. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I wasn't the happiest with the album. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be real with you guys. What J. Cole is doing right now to promote his album, to me right now, is kind of dope. Yo, what's good? Appreciate you for pulling up. Who's that in the chat right here? That's MD. That's MDHXS. What's good? Appreciate you for pulling up. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button too as y'all coming up in here, man. We got some great things to talk about today, man. I wanna see what you guys are thinking of everything that's going on right now. One of the things, or the first things that I will talk about, is J. Cole's North Carolina trunk sale. He did this over the weekend, and like I said earlier, I feel like what he's doing with rolling the album out as it's released is pretty dope. Only because only because I feel like it is authentic. A lot of people that I've been seeing on Twitter, and I'm gonna go through some clips too on Twitter talking about this. Um, Even DJ academics, they have said something along the lines of this being a performative act by J. Cole, being that he's trying to pander and win people over in North Carolina specifically, um, in his home state, but he's trying to pander and win people over here by doing this trunk tour. I completely disagree with that. Um, and I'm saying this, and this is coming from a person who was disappointed in the album. Okay, but people tend to forget that J. Cole already was doing this way before the fall off was even thought of. A lot of people don't remember when he made his first mixtape, The Come Up. That was back in '07, 2007, and I was in college. Me and J. Cole was in college around the same time. This was over 20 years. Not over 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. It's 2026 now. J. Cole, we both live in the same state. While I was in college, J. Cole was selling CDs, his own CDs, with his own music that he produced from out the trunk of his car in a Honda Civic. And he was going to places like one of his stops where he went to yesterday, which was A&T, North Carolina Agriculture and Technology. Now, that's one of the most popular schools in the state, and it's a HBCU. And he already did that with the come up. So a lot of people did not do their research on Cole before looking at what he did over the weekend with this whole Trump tour. Okay, I kind of feel like it is pretty dope that he's doing this. No, it's not no kinda. I do feel like this is dope and authentic of him to do this because he just taking it back to what he was doing when he first came up, like the come up and the fall off. He's ending it off the way he came up, which is pretty dope to me. Now, like I said, I was pretty disappointed in the album, but I like what he's doing here. With as far as the rollout, he went to places like Raleigh, Greensboro, North Carolina, where North Carolina A&T is located. He even came to my hometown here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're gonna go over that. I was surprised that he stopped by, and I didn't even hear about it. I was literally, I was literally on the internet yesterday scanning where J. Cole was going, and I don't know how I could miss that he came to Charlotte while while I was skimming through where he was stopping by because by the time he came here, I was looking on the internet and I see that he already stopped at A&T, and I was like, well, why didn't he stop in Charlotte? And today I just found out that he stopped in Charlotte and he stopped in the neighborhood or in the area that isn't too far from where I live. Now, all this is interesting because it's getting a lot of backlash and a lot of praise at the same time from this, and I think Cole is handling all of this pretty well right now. So let's 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 see what this clip has real quick, man, and let's react to this real quick because this is at one of his stops. I believe this is at A&T right here, guys. So appreciate y'all for being here once again. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to you, M Dog. We about to get this rolling. Let's go.
Hey, 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 hey. Thank y'all, but hey.
They was going crazy out there.
Thank y'all. So listen, all y'all that's here, because they coming right now, they wild. Y'all got to be calm.
I think this is at A&T.
Hey, if we can sort this shit out, I swear to God, I'll walk down the line and give everybody a picture. But if y'all chill, they coming over here, they'll chill. Y'all gotta chill. But if y'all hype, they gonna come over here like it's a, y'all don't even know. We don't want that. First thing we wanna do, go to the most open space we can, slowly, calmly. How far is that?
I wonder how much he was selling these for. Cause he was selling the come up for $1. That's where the song "A Dollar in the Dream" came from. I wonder if he did that here. But let's keep it going.
You go, hey, I'm following y'all.
Everything the niggas is doing.
That was OD.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I told this nigga not to tweet this shit. I was sitting in the car, bro.
Yo, that's exactly what it was.
I'm like, yo, this nigga over there begging, bitch.
Please listen to me.
Please. I said, boy, you a fool, boy. They listen though, bro.
Bro, they did.
And see, right here, he's not even in the Honda Civic. I don't know. I mean, it's like not a Sprinter, but like one of those almost party bus looking type joints. You know what I'm saying? But what I saw him pull up in, we'll get back to this clip. This is him in Charlotte. Yesterday, and this had to happen like around 3 p.m., 4 p.m. ish time. But this is him right here in Charlotte. See, he wasn't even. This part of Charlotte is not far at all from where I live at all. I just cannot understand how I missed this. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, I wanted to see the kind of crowd he drew out there. I wasn't going to be one of the people that went to actually, because I mean, I don't like being amongst that many people anymore. You know what I'm saying? If I ever ran into Cole, I would definitely, like, you know what I'm saying, pound him. Like, no Diddy, by the way. Give him pound, like, you know what I'm saying, as men, you know what I'm saying, pound it up and give him his respect as a lyricist and as a rapper. You feel me? But I'm just surprised that I did not come across this at all yesterday. Right here in Charlotte, that's the South End area. That's called the South End area. It's right here on the, well, you guys probably can't see it, but it's right here on the recycling bin right here where the area is, and a lot of people showed up yesterday. Interesting though, interesting. You know what I'm saying? I honestly, like I said, man, I like what he's doing here because it's nobody else doing that right now as an artist or anything. You won't see anyone else really doing that. Not to say that no other artist will, but I mean, come on. But it's authentic, and it's great to see that he he's so-called leaving off his journey as a rapper. We still don't know if he is, by the way, but as we see, well, as we can see it, that he's leaving off his journey in rap the same way he came up. So, yeah, you said weak. I mean, it's all good, man. I mean, you got your opinion on it, but I mean, what makes it weak? What makes it weak? Let me start by asking you that. What makes it weak, Michael? Um, I mean, cause that's what I see on Twitter. That's what I see. People like DJ Academics are saying it's performative, it's weak. I don't see how it was weak when he was already doing this when he first came out, and nobody was saying it was weak then. Maybe I think you may be a little too young, or you just now probably getting up on Cole in the last 5 or so years. But this isn't the first time he did this, and one of his best songs he ever made, "A Dollar in the Dream," he made about doing this very thing right here. He said he wants us to feel sorry for him. No, he doesn't, bro. Like I just said, you're not listening to nothing I'm saying. Um, J. Cole already did this at the beginning of his career, and he did this with the mixtape called "The Come Up." Okay, and this is not. I'm not being biased. This is from someone who necessarily didn't enjoy the album. I'm just saying he already did this with the Come Up, where he sold his CDs for $1 out the back of his vehicle. Well, not I don't know if it's the same Honda Civic that he's driving in right now, but he did it in a Honda Civic back then, almost 20 years ago. So he's leaving off his career the same way he came up, and I kind of see the storyline behind it. You know what I'm saying? It may look weak now because the apology, yes, we still hold that against him. The apology makes a lot of what he's doing now kind of downplay. It kind of downplays everything he's doing now. You know what I'm saying? Because had that apology never went down, none of this would even occur. J. Cole is one of the most protected artists. You said where are the hits? Now you moving the goalposts. I'm not talking about hits or anything right now. We not. I'm not even going to do that with you, bro, because that's not what we were even talking about. We were talking about how you saying that like him selling these CDs out his trunk is weak, which I mean that's your opinion. I understand, but no one was saying that when he was doing the same thing with the come up. So I made my point with that already. But the where the hits that we weren't even discussing that. You feel me? I could care less about like the because I like I said, bro, I didn't enjoy the album like that. Just to be real, this is just my objective opinion. I'm just saying like this move that he's doing with the album, post album, is pretty cool because of the storyline that he's been telling since he came out up until now. He's leaving off his rap career the same way he came up. It doesn't make the album to me sound any better than what I already think it sounds like. You know what I'm saying? But that's totally different from how I feel about it. Doesn't change about how I feel about what he's doing here. I think what he's doing here is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Now, there was a lot of talk too, which we're gonna discuss as well about this album being compared to GNX, which I I first of all I just don't know why people just want to throw Kendrick's name in J. Cole's like shit so fast, so quick, even though like you know what I'm saying that's gonna be J. Cole's like storyline for the rest of his rap career. You feel me? He's always gonna be tied to Kendrick anytime he drops from now on. But there are a lot of people that are saying that like they think that this album is better than GNX. I don't feel the same, but I don't feel like it should even be qualified to even be compared to GNX. And this is why I say this, and I'll say this right now before I get into it. But the the vibes of both albums are completely different. You cannot I feel like you cannot compare the sounds of the albums to each other at all. You say you don't believe this is his last album. I don't believe so neither. I'm just saying figuratively. I figure like figuratively because him saying that him making the fall off, it's a fact that him saying that him making the fall off is him taking a step back to rap. But it's also a fact that he also didn't leave us with that storyline in the album. That was one of the problems I had with the album was that he didn't give us the story of his fall off. You know what I'm saying? He gave us a bunch of rapidy raps. And you know what I'm saying? And some of those songs, like if they were standalone songs, you could enjoy them. But as a cohesive project, especially for one that was that anticipated, fans wanted to hear you talk about the beef. Fans also, like me, wanted to hear you explain what your fall off is and what you'll be doing after this album. How what is J. Cole's mindset during this album, and what is his mindset going to be after he drops this album? We knew that with Jay-Z when he dropped the Black album. I necessarily didn't like the Black album as Jay-Z's best album, but him dropping that album, you understood where Jay-Z was going after the album. You understood Jay-Z's mindset during the time of making that album and why he's taking a step back from rap. So that was basically my take. Um that was basically just me um and my take on like, you know, how you should leave your last album. Just for me, just in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? But but yeah, back to but back to what I'm trying to really get at here with, like, you know, him taking this tour in North Carolina, because I live in North Carolina. It's kind of special, and I'm not being biased about it, but it's kind of special that, like, you know what I'm saying, one of the biggest rappers out there right now is doing this, and, like, you know what I'm saying, here. Because we never really had nothing like that before out here. You feel me? And we had plenty of artists to come here up out of North Carolina and, like, you know, have did something in the industry just for a little bit, whether it be the baby, Petey Pablo, um, Ninth Wonder, Little Brother, Rhapsody. We got a bunch of I mean, even J. Cole has signed he signed a rapper from here in Charlotte. His name is Loot. Some of y'all might know who Loot is. You know what I'm saying? But, like, none as big as J. Cole has in his trajectory, and for him to come and, like, you know, make his stops out here is I mean, like I said, bro, it's pretty cool, bro. A lot of people don't agree, which is fine. I mean, you know, it is what it is, but a lot of people don't really have the backstory by why he's doing this all the way together. So, like, that's where I kind of feel like, you know, I come in and try to fill in that gap. But what we got Mike here saying? Mike says you were stationed in Fayetteville for 8 years at Fort Bragg. Oh, okay. So you know about the Ville. You live in the Ville. Okay. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So I mean, so okay. Um, I probably know your take on the album, but I mean, just from what you said earlier, but I don't know. Just I can't know that without asking you. What was your take on the album? How did you receive this this recent album from J. Cole? Like, was it good to you? Was it mid to you? Was it legendary? Like, how do you feel? How do you feel about this? Um, me quite honestly, I wasn't fulfilled as a J. Cole fan as a last album. Um and I mean, and um honestly, like, it's hard for me to just go back to it. Especially um I mean, especially from the expectations that I set on it. You know what I'm saying? You say you like the album, but you know he could do better. This is how I feel as well. I feel the same way. I felt the same way because I feel like J. Cole played it safe on this album and he shouldn't have. J. Cole, when he first came out, especially when he first started getting out there, um, his mixtape days, and not even his first album. His first album, The Sideline Story, was kind of an asterisk on his name. I always say his first true real album was Born Center. But you had Born Center with J. Cole was, like, you know, not really playing it safe lyrically. He would name drop people, and you would feel like, you know what I'm saying, he could go at a couple of rappers. Like, that's how I felt with J. Cole early on in his career as he, you know, progressed into the artist that he is today. But we didn't get that Cole on this album at all because I feel like he kind of um he kind of listened to us too much. Oh, what are people gonna say? I know whatever I'll say about this person, it's gonna take people gonna take it into this context, into that context. It shouldn't really even like as an MC, it shouldn't really even be on your minds about like what the masses like. Yes, you might want like your core fans um to be receptive of what you're trying to do, but at the end of the day, you're the artist, and you should be confident enough to like display your artistry however you wanted to like to display it. Cause I feel like Cole did want to say some things because he alluded to some things on the album, but he never really like said those things out loud. Like the whole what if song, I feel to me was like a ode to like what if Pac and Biggie hashed it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yes, but like I feel like that was kind of him trying to say in a sense that like what I'm saying. This is why I don't really participate in those type of beefs or anything like such as that. It's like you put those type of stigmas on your name when you jump into the most important rap beef in history, and then you back out of it. It's like what I'm saying? You kind of put that stigma on your name for the rest of your career. You feel me? Mike, you said you think Cole is doing what he thinks we want instead of what he really wants. I see what you're saying, Mike, but this is how I see it, right? A lot of content creators, a lot of people on Twitter, like individuals such as you and me, we even expressed on socials and clips and videos on videos about how we want to hear his side of the story about why he apologized. We kind of sort of like he kind of sort of nibbled and dibbled in that in Port Antonio, but he didn't really give us like okay, when Kendrick did whacked out murals, we knew exactly where he stood with people. We knew exactly what he felt when certain people were doing certain things behind his back, certain things that he paid attention to. We understood what what where Kendrick's stance was with shit when we first heard whacked out murals. We didn't get that from Cole at all since the beef, and like that's why I'm saying I don't think because we wanted that from Cole, but we didn't get that from Cole. We still aren't getting any fulfillment on like what was his justifications on apologizing and his most important like his most important battle in his career or the most important rap battle in history. We wanted to know that, especially after like years and years of hearing you rap about you uh putting your favorite rapper's neck in the noose and all this. You know what I'm saying? We done heard that, and we wanted to see that put to the test, and we didn't see it. And we want answers, and we didn't get the answers. You said Kendrick is vulnerable and transparent, almost to a fault. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is. He is. He is. And and I mean, his true fans know that, and that, but I feel like what I'm saying. That does make it easier for one to express oneself, and for one to like let others know where they stand at. It's like Kendrick isn't scared to like what I'm saying. Draw the line with these niggas. You feel me? And like people like me wanted Cole to be like that for so long, but when it was put to the test, it like the ball got dropped. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about that, right? Since we already 20-30 minutes into the live, okay? We got a bunch of people um we got a bunch of people uh reacting to J. Cole's album saying that it is better than GNX. Okay. Now, I totally disagree, and this is my take on it. Okay. If it were better than GNX, if it were better than we'll see. Will this album stand the test of time? I believe it won't. For one, because the album is way too long. Like no one wants to consume in this day and age over 20 some song album with every song damn near 4 to 5 minutes long, gang. That is hard to digest in this day and age. That is hard to digest in this day and age, bro. And that's what J. Cole, like one of the people in my live kept saying, one of my people in my reaction video live, they kept saying how J. Cole didn't read the room well, and I agree. I agree. I said, why would you put out an album this long in this climate of hip hop? And not and even if you did, why not why not go ahead and just diss Kendrick and Drake, bro? Why not? Why not? You might as well if you had it. Oh my goodness, bro. Why not? Because a lot of the songs on that album, it's like, bro, we're listening to a lot of rapidy raps, but we're not getting the story. Like we got a couple of stories. We got one in Quick Trip. We may have got one in what was that joint where he dissed the random dude from Fayetteville. I can't remember the name of that song, but it was like number 4 or 5 on the album. You said this next album. Hold on, you said this is a good rollout for his next album, and and like you were saying earlier, I don't think, and I agree with you. I don't think that this is his last album. But I don't think this was a good idea to put this out if this was the case to be the fall off. Then this should have been completely different. This should have been like uh like it could have been like a deluxe to the birthday blizzard shit. You know what I'm saying? It could have been something like that, bruh. But it shouldn't have been the fall off because he didn't explain the fall off. You know what I'm saying? Just in my opinion. But back to it being compared to GNX. Now, GNX is, and this is not me trying to glaze or anything. This is me being objective here. Okay? GNX is more, to me, in my opinion, is more aesthetically pleasing to the ear than the fall off is. I'm just being honest, gang. It is more aesthetically pleasing to listen to me than the fall off because the fall off has way too many songs, way too long on there. Okay? Kendrick made a 12 track surprise album at that. Like, and you could tell some of them songs were just made right then and there on the spot, like within the span of 2 to 3 months. Cole has been working on this album for years. But also, like I was saying earlier, the sounds of the album can't even be compared. You cannot compare Whacked Out Murals to 2-6. You cannot. Whacked Out Murals, like I said, you knew what Kendrick stood with everything and everybody in the state of hip hop right then and there on the very first song. You can't say that you did with 2-6. You can't even really say, like, you could say that he was repping for Fayetteville on 2-6. But like but are we really banging that? Are we really banging that more now than we did with Whacked Out Murals? People literally are still trying to decipher Whacked Out Murals to this day, and it's almost 2 years later. It's almost 2 years later. I don't think it's anything on this album that will still, like on the fall off, that we'll still be trying to decipher 2 years from now, 3 years from now, or even a year from now. You said Cole don't realize how much we love him and we want to hear the truth from his heart, good, bad, or ugly. I agree with that. Cole is better when we allow himself, or when we allow himself to be produced. Oh yeah, okay, greater producer than himself. Right. When he self produces, when he cuz did he do any of the production on this joint? I haven't I didn't even look to see if he did any of the production on the fall off, which he should have. Which he should have, because Cole cooks up the best to me when he self produces. That's why to me I like Born Center. Um Born Center to me edges out to just to me. Y'all don't have to agree with me, but it edges out to me Forest Hill Drive just a little bit because he was a lot hungrier on that project to me than he was on Forest Hill Drive. Just to me at least. And he self-produced, I believe, the whole album. I don't think he did the whole album on Forest Hill Drive. That was a little more commercially successful than Born Center, but but Born Center was a lot more homegrown to me than Forest Hill Drive was because it was all J. Cole's production. You said, oh, most of it was. Okay, okay. So most of, hold on. So most of the fall off, are you saying most of the fall off, Mike, is produced by Cole? Or we were talking about Born Center. Which one will, because I don't know which one you were referring to. But but yeah, I needed more of that I needed more of that the come up Cole, the Born Center Cole, Friday Night Lights Cole, the more home cooked Cole. You said oh, okay, so the album, so he produced most of that. I mean, the beats on the album were dope as fuck. The beats on the album were dope. The beats on the album were dope. And okay, okay, I could see now. I could see now, and you could tell that a lot of them were produced by him. Now, what I didn't really like though on the album was his oversaturation to try to interpolate a lot of the older tracks that we used to listen to, like a lot of the older southern tracks that we used to listen to. um he sampled Luda. um he sampled he sampled a lot of like those older, real old southern, like Atlanta hits or just southern hits period that a lot of us used to fuck with back in the day. But I feel like he overdid it on that on the album a little too much, because I don't feel like, cuz he's never done that before. He's never done that before. Like he's like, you know what I'm saying, made interpolations of like other songs, like, like Erica Badu and um he's done that before in the past, but not like how he was trying to, like, shout out like a lot of the older songs and stuff that I just felt like it was a little bit too forced to me. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine him and Pharrell? I honestly, Mike, I could go without that collab. Like with them being like producers together, I would rather go without both of them like putting a beat together. You know what I'm saying? I would rather one just I'd rather both stick to each other's lane. You know what I'm saying? I can't really hear, and even if I heard J. Cole on like imagine J. Cole on Chains and Whips with along with Kendrick and Clips. Like it just I'm sorry, the tones just aren't there. I don't feel like that to me. I just couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it to me. What's up with it, Crisis? What's good with you, man? Appreciate you for pulling up on this, bro. Appreciate all y'all for pulling up on this. Matter of fact, y'all, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as y'all are coming in. I hope y'all enjoying the conversation, man. We are talking about it all right now. We're talking about We just talked about earlier, if you missed it, about J. Cole's North Carolina trunk sale, the tour that he stopped, the tour where he made stops city by city here in North Carolina, where I live. Right now, we're talking about the comparisons that people have been making about J. Cole's The Fall Off and GNX, because there's a lot of people on Twitter talking about how one is better than the other and all this other stuff. Okay. Now, I personally said, me honestly, I feel like this album is nowhere close to me to where GNX was and is. Okay, GNX was a surprise album. It had way more impact. Um, we will not be trying to decipher any song off of the Fall Off 2, 3 years from now, like we're still trying to decipher with some of the songs that Kendrick did on GNX. One of them being, like I said earlier, whacked out murals. People are still talking about and still are trying to decipher whacked out murals to this day. You said you was here for my reaction. Nah, you're not a Cole fan anymore. He cosplaying. Yeah, yeah. I don't hold up. Like cosplaying how? Are you saying like the whole North Carolina, are you saying the whole North Carolina city by city tour where he's selling CDs out of his trunk? Are you saying that he's cosplaying doing that, or just period, like just in general, him cosplaying, him not really saying how he really feels? Is that what you're trying to say? I just want to get some of y'all thoughts on this too. You know what I'm saying? This is a conversation. This is an open conversation right now. Whacked Out Murals is the best intro you ever heard. Man, I put that up there in my bet. One of my, like, I put that up there in the best intros I've ever heard too, cause of how direct it is, and uh, I mean, you know what you're getting out of it. Um, I mean, just the songwriting in it, the pockets and flows, the switch ups in it, the everything about that. He nailed it. I can't say anything bad about what Kendrick did with Whacked Out Murals. He said everything that what was on our minds at the time. You said the tough guy shit, Crisis. Oh yeah, I mean, it comes with the ego being shattered. It comes with the ego being shattered of him apologizing, because he knows that we will look at him just for that one moment for the rest of his career. He knows that, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it is what it is for now. You feel me? He dropped this album. Um, it's a lot of tug of war between fan bases about how they feel about the album and everything, because you got the diehard fans really fucking with it, saying that it's a classic. um then you got others, like, the diehard Kendrick fans that are like, oh, it's ass, all this other stuff, yada yada yada. I mean, it's really caused like a lot of friction, and I think J. Cole is getting what he wants out of this, which is um the divide. Um the divide, you know what I'm saying? Um but that's just you. Yeah, bro, you good. Hold up. You said he should have stuck with full humility and gone all out. I was just saying that earlier. You said you think punching down to the local Fayetteville rapper was weak. He didn't have that energy for Kendrick. Okay, and I discussed that too. I remember you was here when we reacted to that, and I didn't know who he was talking about in that song, and he almost went left in that song with bringing up a certain community. In a lot of, oh yeah, in a lot of that community had a lot to say about those things that he was alluding to in that song when he did spit those lyrics about that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to speak too much on it, because you can't really say too much on YouTube about a lot of things. So y'all, some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But Mike said, apologies. You want to see him geeked up. Oh yeah, that's what Kendrick said on Whacked Out Murals. You're right. Okay. Uh Crisis says, and then what if it was disrespectful to you? And then his romantic songs were who he really is. See, and you're right, because okay, let's go back to like who J. Cole really is at the core. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the songs that we remember him for, like especially during his come up, was um like the songs that, like, were for the women. Um Hit It in the Morning with Drake. He did the Hit It in the Morning. He did and You Got a Good Thing. Do 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 do. I cannot remember the name of that song, but like a lot of the songs that he came up on, I think even like um, was Power Trip about a female? Was even Power Trip about a female? I might have been wrong. It's been a while since I heard Power Trip, but I think that was about a female too. Like a lot of the songs that we like came to know J. Cole by and for was like the songs that was targeted for the women. And that was because, I mean, you could kind of see, like, Rock Nation was trying to push him to that Drake fan base a little bit because he light skinned and he was already being compared to Drake ever since he came out. You know what I'm saying? So it was like they was trying to kind of pander him and push him into that direction and being the light skinned guy that makes the songs for women. You know what I'm saying? So like I get where you coming from with that, Crisis. I get where you coming from for that. Like his romantic songs are like, where he kind of came up and kind of got known for mainstream wise, not his core audience fans who knew about, like, his underground work and everything. You know? Oh, what's crazy? I think no, 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 no. Never mind, never mind, never mind. I was gonna go back to that Pharrell and J. Cole collab, but no, never mind. That was something completely different. Let's go let's go back to what we're talking about though. The fall off in GNX. Now you say he really be like them. Kendrick is the GOAT. Now, okay, let's go back to this GNX and the fall off comparison, gang, because I really want to talk to y'all about this. A lot of people been like trying to, especially like the cold stands are really trying to, like, find a dub here for J. Cole in any type of way. They cannot let this be live a life of its own. They cannot let the fall off live a life of its own without having to mention Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Now, I said this. I no, actually I don't think I said this on stream. Okay, but to me, I feel like this album shouldn't even be compared to the likes of GNX. Because why? Why do people not compare Might Delete Later to GNX? Because for one, Might Delete Later was a way better album to me than The Fall Off. That's just me. Might Delete Later was way more direct. That was direct Cole. That was the Cole we wanted to see on this album. Where he was like, fuck all that, bro. I'm just gonna say whatever. And whoever feels whatever way, I don't care. The Might Delete Later is what the fall off should have been. Might Delete Later is more comparative, is more comparable to GNX than the fall off. Can someone please clip that, please? GNX. I mean, the no. Might Delete Later is more comparative to GNX than the fall off is to GNX. Okay? This is more comparable. The fall off is more comparable to Kendrick's Mr. Morale album than it is to GNX. Why? It's these the two both are double albums, okay? Both albums are meant to be somewhat personal to both artists. Both albums have very similar both albums have very similar vibes and sounds. Mike said Kendrick grew up in a war zone. It's hard to battle that kind of person. Right. Like DMX, Eminem, Tupac, KRS-One all came up battling life itself. And you right, bro. You are absolutely right. Like the best MCs in the ring to get in the ring with have been the ones who've been through the trenches and life just whooped their ass. It was like it was like it was like when did Michael or Crisis say it earlier? One of them said it earlier. One of them said it earlier. Hold on. One of them said it earlier. Um, but yes, y'all are completely right. I feel like the best battle rappers, the best artists are the ones who just been through the mud, the trenches. Because oh yes, they whoever said that earlier about Kendrick being vulnerable. Whoever said it was Crisis or Mike. One of y'all said that in the chat. But about Kendrick being vulnerable. So is DMX. So is Eminem. So is Pac, and so is KR. Well, I don't know how vulnerable KRS-One gotten with his pen. I don't recall any. I don't see because KRS-One, like, he was one of them lyricists where, like, you know what I'm saying, he took I mean, he could rap about the soles of your shoe and the crust in your eye, and that shit'll be dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was one of them type of rappers. I don't know how personal he got with his life in his raps. I know that he came up homeless rapping. You know what I'm saying? But I could be wrong though. I myself haven't heard any KRS-One track where I heard him speak his story. You know what I'm saying? But he's definitely one of them ones. But I do agree. It's hard to battle anyone with that type of vulnerability because it's like, what can you say about this nigga? It's like, what can you say about this nigga that he hasn't said about himself already, bro? You know what I'm saying? But back to the comparisons though. GNX and Might Delete Later should be more comparable to each other than the Fall Off in GNX. The Fall Off and Mr. Morale need to be more comparable than the Fall Off in GNX. I don't understand how people have had a problem. The same people that had a problem with Mr. Morale did not have a problem with this album. And they had the same amount. Bro, let's see how many tracks did Mr. Morale have? Let's see. My bad for my soundboard going off. Hold on. We gotta check that track list, gang. Because I want to say they had the same amount of songs, right? You said for the record, you was okay with Cole being soft. What I'm not okay with is him trying to act like he's about it just because it sounds good on record. Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you though, Crisis. I'm not gonna like cause he only sounded like he was really with that shit on that one verse. Everything else in that everything else on the fall off, I didn't get like that type of energy from him that he's about that life. I just didn't get that from Cole this this album. Now, if we're talking Might Delete Later, yes, I caught those vibes instantly on Might Delete Later without even having to even listen to 7 Minute Drill. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely caught those vibes on Might Delete Later, but on this, nah, I think I believe Cole was a lot more on the soft side here than anything. Just in my opinion. Now I'm trying to get the track list to Mr. Morale. Cause this was a double disc too. Okay. So he had 9 on disc one. That was on Big Steppers. And he had hold on. Okay, so he had 9. He had 9 total tracks on both discs. Why isn't this album compared more to to uh to the fall off? And it's because I know why what it is, bro. It's because like Cole fans and Drake fans want to give their respective artists any kind of dub at this point. They're looking for any kind of dub at this point, gang. Yes, what I said earlier about Cole traveling around here in my home state of North Carolina to hand out his CDs, that is dope. To me, that is dope because, like I said earlier, once again, he's leaving out so-called because we already discussed that. I don't think this is his last album neither. But let's speak figuratively here. Figuratively, he's leaving out his career the same way he came up during the come up, his first mixtape where he was selling his mixtape, the come up, out of the trunk of his Honda Civic for only $1 around colleges in North Carolina. Okay? So I think that's dope, but I do not put that there and say that makes the album that he just dropped 10 times doper. I don't conflate the two at all. I can say that what he's doing right now is dope. In the album, I still was disappointed in. I could say both. I can say both. You said okay, oh my bad, Mike and okay, Mike and Crisis. Okay, y'all said Souls of Yeshua crusty. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that was okay. The fall off. The fall off is Cole's Mr. Morale, and Might Delete Later is comparable to GNX. Right, right. Okay. Now, Mr. Morale changed your life. Okay, and Mr. Morale, I'll say, in a sense, at that time came out at the very right time for me too. At the time where I needed to hear music like that, that was speaking to your soul. You know what I'm saying? Now, you said you listened to Count Me Out. Count Me Out. Count Me Out. I love Count Me Out till this day. That's one of Kendrick's best songs and one of Kendrick's most slept on songs. I probably like Count Me Out more than I liked any other song on that album because I listened to it way more than anything else. And I really loved that album. I just don't think it was the best. Um, I don't think it was the best in his catalog, but it was his most personal, and which I can appreciate, right? But like I mean, you knew exactly where Kendrick's mindset was during this album. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know that about Cole in this album to fall off. Like you can't really see because he didn't really have a sit down and have therapy sessions with the pen during none of these songs. From what I heard, bro. He really didn't. He didn't get very personal with himself. We don't really know too much more new about Cole with this album. You know what I'm saying? We literally walked away knowing more about Kendrick uh with um with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. You know what I'm saying? You said Kendrick was actually going through therapy in Mr. Morale and he included his whole family. Exactly. Thank you. And you said that minutes before I could even get to that point. So you absolutely right, Mike. I agree with you on that. Now Crisis says depth in words. Yep. Now it was good to see Cole get live from it for his people. And it is and yes, I agree. It's good to see it's good to see that, like, you know what I'm saying, he is receiving love still. I mean, which we already knew, because he's gonna have his core fan base to always, like, hold him down. Just like with any other fan base, you're gonna always have those diehards to hold him down. But to see it here in North Carolina, it kind of hits a little more different. You know what I'm saying? Um, and and honestly, I remember first hearing about J. Cole when I was in college because I remember hearing about him going around selling the come up in at A&T, at Johnson C. Smith, at Central University in Durham, North Carolina, at these big at these big HBCU schools, and he was performing at these schools as well. A lot of people don't remember back then. J. Cole had a college tour before any other rap artist. Like no one was going on college tours and rapping at colleges before J. Cole. No, I mean, well, not at that time. I actually probably should chill because I forgot about matter of fact, my bad, y'all. Don't quote me on that. I just remembered uh the Notorious B.I.G. and P Diddy. They did shit like that way before Cole because they was at Howard University performing in front of college crowds at HBCUs. Okay, but Cole at that time where he was coming up with like the people of that day and age, which was the people like Currency and Charles Hamilton and all these lyricists that like were being spawned around that time. J. Cole was coming up around, and he was the only one doing college tours like that. And I remember hearing about that. You know what I'm saying? So to see him take it back to those days, you know what I'm saying? Like as a fan, you could see how everything comes in full circle. You know, so you say you compare KOD to Mr. Morale based on concepts. Now, I compare KOD me just personally, because I'm not stepping on nobody's opinion, but me personally, I compare KOD more to I compare KOD more to Damn than I do to Mr. Morale. And I say that because solely because nothing on KOD um, that Cole did was about Cole. It wasn't anything personal. Everything on KOD was Cole's way of parodying, like of doing parodies of what hip hop and rap was sounding like at the time, which is kind of why like somebody like me, I can't go back and listen to KOD because I feel like that was Cole's like most inauthentic album because he wasn't really being himself to me. KOD was more commercially put, like it was more like for a commercial push, like sort of kind of like how Kendrick's Damn was like more commercially for a commercial push than anything that Kendrick's ever done before. You know what I'm saying? Cause Damn was more commercially sound than Good Kid, Mad City was. Then it was more commercially sound than To Pimp a Butterfly was. I want to say KOD was the same for me. KOD was a lot more commercially sound to me than anything J. Cole ever did before then. It was more commercially sound than For Your Eyes Only. It was more commercially sound to me than ooh well, Forest Hill Drive, that was commercially sound, but that sounded more Cole than KOD sounded. You know what I'm saying? That's just to me. Hey, what's up, Rochelle? Appreciate you pulling up. Thank y'all all for being here, man. For real, for real. Um, yeah, we talking about it all today, y'all. We talking about it all today. Um, right now, we're talking about the comparisons that people have been making between uh, the fall off and GNX that I've been seeing on Twitter, because a lot of people have been saying that. And the damn album hasn't even been out a whole week, and people are already like trying to throw GNX under the bus. And we're just breaking it down here. But you said once an addict is probably his most vulnerable song. Yep. I agree. You like commercial Cole. You think his lane instead of the hardcore underground rap. Okay, you like that a little more than his hardcore underground rap. Um Now I'm gonna be honest with you. Shit like Middle Child, if Cole would have stuck in that type of pocket right there, I wish he would have. I wish he would have stayed in that type of pocket right there. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I think he played the role middle child a little bit too. I think he took that role a little too seriously. I liked his attitude, his bravado on the track. I needed that attitude and bravado uh from him in the fall off, and we just didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, but for real though. Um, like I was saying, back to GNX and the fall off. Like those these two projects shouldn't even be in the same conversation. No, Cole fans, y'all need to be talking about that might delete later being in the same conversation as GNX. Like why isn't that y'all pinnacle of talking about this whole thing? Why isn't Might Delete Later your pinnacle on starting off this conversation? Might Delete Later was miles ahead and better than the fall off. And y'all wanna sit on on the fall off being better than GNX when those two albums have like two totally different sounds. You can't compare the two. You cannot compare the two. You said GNX is overrated. I mean, that's an opinion. That's that like, and we all got our opinion, okay? But I'm here to say my opinion is that GNX and the fall off cannot be compared, and that GNX to me is the better album than the fall off. Like I was saying earlier, so I can finish my point from that. It's aesthetically easier to listen to than the fall off is. The fall off was way too long. The fall off was it sounded like it felt like a chore to listen to. Overhated. Oh, my bad, Rochelle. Overhated. Got you. Okay. I didn't know if you misspelled it or not. But okay, I can see where you're coming from with that. And a lot of people want to hate GNX because it's a lot of people from that other side of the fan base, from that Cole fan base, from that Drake fan base. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. My bad for misquoting you though. My bad for misquoting you. But it's you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of them on that side, you know what I'm saying? And their voice is a lot louder than it is on people on Kendrick's side. Because they've had the internet for the longest. The Cole fans and the Drake fans have had the internet for the longest, way longer than Kendrick fans. People got to understand that. People got to understand that Kendrick fans, a lot of Kendrick fans, and why they align with what Kendrick says and everything is because they like we're kind of all like-minded. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Kendrick fans you can see kind of have like this problem with interacting with society, just like Kendrick kind of does. Like where he's like very reclusive and hard to catch. You feel me? But we've always heard about J. Cole fans and Drake fans flooding our timelines for years and years and years on end. No matter how many dope projects that Kendrick has dropped. The J. Cole fans and the Drake fans have always had the louder voice on the internet. Like when J. Cole riding a bike in Manhattan, I mean, his whole fan base was in an uproar about that for weeks. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick did push-ups on on a Instagram post and hardly anyone better than I. You know what I'm saying? And we see a lot less of Kendrick. We see a lot less of Kendrick than we do with J. Cole and Drake just combined. So, like, you know what I'm saying? We see the arguments and we see, like, the offenses on both sides, where, like, one fan base will get offended by the other for saying this and that. But we just got to remember that sometimes, that the Drake fans and the J. Cole fans have always had the loudest voice over a lot of the Kendrick fans over the internet, because they've had the internet the longest. They've had the internet the longest, gang. Okay, and they got to this quite fast. They got to this quite fast on this comparison to GNX. We're also going to talk about the Bad Bunny performance too. About because a lot of Drake fans are Bad Bunny fans too. To a lot of people's surprise, it's not to my surprise. I kind of already knew that, but it's a lot of Drake fans that have already been Bad Bunny fans even way before the beef. So they've already tried to mudsling Kendrick's name up in there, saying that, oh, Bad Bunny's performance was more iconic, was more was better than Kendrick's. And I mean, 'cause we had academics say that, and we're gonna go over that too, right? Because academics was so quick to tweet out how Bad Bunny's performance was this, that, and the third, and Kendrick's wasn't this, that, and the third. We needed a PSA, a public service. It was Kendrick's whole um performance was a PSA for a PDF. Like, I mean, like, of course you would go with the easiest, trollingest answer just to get engagement. You know what I'm saying? Of course, academics is going to engagement farm his way into things by bringing up Kendrick's name whenever he gets the chance. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're gonna get to that too, bro. But I want to finish this comparison between the two albums. Okay, let's see what some of y'all are saying though. Okay, so GNX was fire. Also showed that Kendrick had the cojones. You right now. You said Mike said Kendrick lets his music speak for itself. Exactly. He doesn't have to post nothing, tweet anything, or do any antics. No online antics. You're right. Kendrick inspired Bad Bunny's performance. You think he changed the way the Super Bowl is done forever? You right. You know what? I did catch that too. I did catch that too, Mike. I mean, no, hold on. I caught that. I caught that, Mike. I caught that, and we're gonna talk about that too, because I feel like there was some elements in there that I seen um Bad Bunny do that, like, I definitely seen in that Kendrick performance from last year. So I see what you're talking about. Rochelle, you said you're kind of sad for Kendrick. The criticism is very disingenuous and rooted in spite against him. They aren't pro Cole. They're just anti Kendrick. Exactly. They always move the goalposts. You're right. You're right. You're right. um it's a double standard, and it always will be with all three fan. Well, it's a triple standard. Well, no, it's a double standard, because I still put Cole fans and Drake fans on the same side, because, like you said, um they're like, not all the Cole and Drake fans, but I'm saying most of them are anti Kendrick, especially at this point. You know what I'm saying? And they can't enjoy either artist. One they gotta lift one up. They gotta bash one or two of them down to lift one up. You know what I'm saying? Um, so you said there's a reluctance to give Kendrick his credit and flowers. It's weird. Um, it is, because in so many ways I feel like, what's up, Fine Night? Oh, you, like, bro, you good, bro? It's all good, man. We're talking right now. In the moment, right now, we're talking about the comparisons that people have been making between the fall off and GNX. Um, and earlier we were talking about J. Cole's North Carolina trunk sale tour. and him making the stops in cities here in North Carolina. Um, but right now we're talking about the comparison between GNX and the Fall Off. But yes, the reluctance to give Kendrick his flowers is because Kendrick doesn't he doesn't come outside and say anything. He doesn't speak for himself in which I feel like, you know what I'm saying, in all essence of who he is as a man. He doesn't necessarily have to, because he tells us what it is in his music. He doesn't have to post anything. He lets, like you said earlier, the music speak for himself. He didn't post anything or tell us how he felt before GNX came out. He just gave us whacked out murals. And here we are 2 years later, still trying to decipher what he's talking about on there. People are still trying to figure out if he took a shot or took a shot at Cole on there to this day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you said what's to compare exactly. That's what I'm trying to figure out. See, it's so many people on Twitter, finite, trying to, like, force their opinions upon, what I'm saying, others about, like, you know, GNX not being better than the Fall Off. And I'm like you right now. It's nothing to compare, because the two sounds of the both albums have two totally different sounds. What I was saying earlier is, if you want to compare any album to this Fall Off album, you compare it to Kendrick's Mr. Morale album, which is the direct mirror of each other. These albums are a direct mirror of each other. Even though one album has more songs than the other, both albums have the same type of sound. You know what I'm saying? May not be the same lyrical content, but they have the same type of vibes, same type of sounds, and they're both double discs. Why aren't more people trying to compare Might Delete Later to GNX? Why? Because Cole put ice on his own. He put ice on his own project. He iced his own self while he was at the height of his career at that time, by apologizing to Kendrick, making Might Delete Later obsolete across all boards. Might Delete Later is miles farther, way better than the Fall Off is. We got everything, like the true fans that really wanted to hear Cole spit. We got everything that we wanted J. Cole to do on this album. We got that on Might Delete Later. So why are people are only trying to compare the two right now, the Fall Off and GNX, due to recency bias, and because Cole fan base, Cole fan bases, along with Drake fan base as well, as always, are combining their powers, with their powers combined, to try to take down Kendrick in anything that Kendrick does at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like all the Cole fans were the same salty fans shitting on Kendrick for accepting Grammys last week. You know what I'm saying? They were all shitting on Kendrick for accepting Grammys last week. You know what I mean? So they're trying to discredit everything that the man's trying to do. And the reason being is because the Cole fans and the Drake fans have always had the louder voices, than the Kendrick fans on the internet. And I said that, and I was saying that earlier. Kendrick's fan base tends to be more like he is. You know what I'm saying? A little more reclusive and a little less vocal online. You know what I'm saying? But Drake fans and J. Cole fans have always been there to back their respective artists up. Every step of the way. Every step of the way. Let's see what y'all saying in the chat. Um, oh, okay. Oh, my bad. Let me I gotta expand the chat. There's a lot of talk in the chat, man. Appreciate all y'all for being here, man. Much love. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe button as well. Okay, it's straight up bullying, the meltdown when you state a genuine opinion about the fall off. Right, that's how they fans take it, right? The difference between the fall off and GNX is in Black Friday. Mike, you right. You right. You right. I didn't even bring up Black Friday yet. I didn't even bring up Black Friday yet. It was clear who was the better MC on Black Friday. Cole, 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 Cole can't even really perform "Tale of Two Cities" like that no more because Kendrick literally made that his song. After that, bro, it's a bit of it, it's a bit, it's a bit of it, it's a bit of it, it's a bit, it's a bit of it. That flow, that flow, even that flow that Kendrick did on there is still remarkable to this day. What Cole did on Kendrick's beat was damn near laughable, bro. I'm just being honest. Probably one of the things that Cole fans wants to forget is that Black Friday track. Okay. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is executed better, is sonically better in every way. Okay, okay, okay. I see what you're saying there, Rochelle. Find out you said that with our powers combined, Captain Planet. Okay. Oh, Mike, you retracted what you said. Okay, I wonder what it was you said. Well, man, you glad you? Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate you for finding me, man, and I appreciate you for being here, Crisis. Um, and I mean, man, I'm gonna have to probably do some Discord segments with y'all too, every now and then soon, bro, so we can like, I want to like discuss this with some of y'all, like, personally, um, especially when more topics hit like this, because I mean, it's definitely refreshing to like speak to like minds about stuff like this. You know what I'm saying, and really build on this type of stuff. Um, oh, appreciated the Pac poster, man. Yeah, bro. Pac is Pac. Me personally, Pac is my goat. Pac is my goat and has always been my goat, man. But yeah, man. But back to this comparison still too, because we still got a lot to digest with these comparisons, okay? Because what I mean, like Crisis said earlier, or Finite, one of y'all said earlier, what's to compare here, bro? What are we comparing here? Cause okay, I'm gonna go. Let me open up a new tab and bring up Cole's album track for track, okay? Cole's album track for track. No, the fall off. Okay, Cole's album track for track can't even be compared to GNX track for track because you can't compare 2-6. We can't. We comparing 2-6 to whacked out murals now? No, we're not, because we're not even going to be deciphering anything from the song 2-6 itself 2-3 years from now, like we have been doing with whacked out murals. Let's start there, okay? Now, let's hold up. Let's bring up GNX. Let's bring up. Let's bring up GNX, gang. Let's bring up GNX, cause I'm like, bro, I'm tired of the forced hate and the shade, bro. We can't compare these songs, bro. Like, okay, track one, whacked out murals, as compared to J. Cole's track one, which is 20, not even including 29 intro. That's not including that, okay? We're talking about 2-6, the very first song on there. There's no comparison, okay? There aren't any quotables from 2-6 that any one of us can quote. Okay? Now hold on. Where's my chat? Where did my chat go? There we go. Hey, appreciate you for being here, Crisis. I'll see you on the next one, bro. I'm gonna see you on the next one. But yeah. So man, I should have went live on Twitch too, bro. I'm gonna start doing these on Twitch too, bro. Have a multi stream. Anyways, so yeah, um, Are we comparing Squabble Up to Safety? That is it. No, 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 no. Poor thing. I was about to say, was Safety the song where Cole was dissing the guy from Fayetteville, or was it Poor Thing? I think it was Poor Thing. I don't know. Kendrick is good at reading the temperature of the world. The fallout, the fall off don't fit today's climate. It doesn't. It because it does. You know why? And you said something there, Mike. Do you want to know why? Because Kendrick is always addressing the state of the world. In ever, like ever since To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick has like been doing this state of emergency type message in all of his albums, right? To where it fits the timeline of what was going on then. You know what I'm saying? And I think Cole throughout his whole career was trying to chase that and has yet to ever obtain that level of prestige in his career. Just to be honest, and he's always wanted to reach that level of prestige. But I don't. But you're right though. I don't feel like. Well, right, since Section 80, you're right. Section 80, he was giving us the state of the world then. You're right. I didn't bring up Section 80 because I started at To Pimp a Butterfly because a lot of people don't really even mention Section 80 in Kendrick's catalog when they should, bro. I think that's very disrespectful to not even mention where it really all started for Kendrick, which was Section 80, and that's where it all started for me. But yes, you're right. He's always stated or addressed the state of the world in each of his projects. He didn't really do that too much in Good Kid, Mad City, only because he was trying to appeal more to the commercial audience, so he could get his commercial audience up there, and then boom, he hit us with To Pimp a Butterfly, where he did get back into his revolutionary bag. You know what I'm saying? N95 was about the COVID lockdowns. You're right. Um, and that's what I'm saying. Like Mr. Morale came out. Mr. Morale came out. It was around the time where people was still in the house, y'all. People were still in the house during that time in 2022. You know what I'm saying? People didn't start going back outside till a little bit later on that year. You know what I'm saying? But we also got to remember a lot of those songs were made during the time the pandemic was going on too. Um, Cole is shallow. Remember his beef with No Name? Yep. Where No Name really won that beef because Cole had no business even speaking on her out of context like that. He said he doesn't read, so he needs to stop posturing like he know it. I mean, that's okay. That's another asterisk on Cole's name where a lot of his fan base wants to sweep that under the rug because that was another L that Cole took. See, Cole has always been like a baby face in like in the eyes of his fans and in the world of just general of hip hop in general, right? To where he could do no wrong up until the album. I mean, not the album. Up until the apology happened. Okay, J. Cole, up until the apology happened, could do no wrong in no one's eyes. So when the No Name shit happened, everyone just that that was just a blip. That was just a blip. You know what I'm saying? When it really made J. Cole at the time look like an ass. It really made him look like an ass. If you look back at it, it really made him look like an ass when you look back at everything from that point to the apology all the way up until now. Even when he apologized for dissing Kanye and Wale and Lil Pump, people still gave him grace. So before the apology to Kendrick, to anyone, even the Kendrick fans, J. Cole could do no wrong to anyone. J. Cole could do no wrong to anyone in anyone's eyes. And that's just being real. Now, now I'm still trying to go off the comparisons here, cause I mean I'm just looking at this long list of these tracks. It's like, bro, you cannot compare the fall off to GNX by any stretch. You got to compare it to Mr. Morale. You got to compare it to Mr. Morale. You could compare N95 to 2-6 because the sounds are kind of similar, but not really. But the how I'm gonna put this, like the point each artist tried getting across on each respective song was kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? N95 fast rapping hard beats. Real in your face lyricism. Um 2-6 kind of same in the same like sound sphere, like you know what I'm saying, where there's like some a little bit of fast rapping, some here and there's, I wouldn't say heavy hitting bars, but like some aggressive sounding bars. You feel me? Um, I would say more those two are comparable than 2-6 and whacked out murals. Like, come on, gang. Safety, safety. It had that kind of like that real hippity hop beat. I want to say it was a sample. Was it like a tribe sample or something? Hold on, I could be wrong. I can look it up right quick because okay, Cole produced that, but I don't know what a sample like. What is it sampled? But Cole and three more produced it. See, that's man, that's kind of the problem I have with today. Is like music is like never produced by one person anymore. It's always by like three or four different. Uh, it always goes by three or four different people's desks before they put it out to the world. But so yeah, so safety that was kind of more of the like the hip hopish type song. But okay, the worldwide steppers wasn't that like a oh, see, this is one of the songs I kind of skipped over. Worldwide Steppers. That that kind of had a different feel. That was Kendrick like being more experimental, cuz Kendrick was being very experimental on Mr. Morale, okay? Just like J. Cole was kind of sort of being experimental here on the fall off, because like I said during the reaction, Cole is still trying to see if we fuck with him or not, to make sure like he's trying to see where he is right now in hip hop, whether or not he should put out more music or not. This is why I feel like he kind of put out this fall off and didn't make a story out of it being a fall off and this being his last album. You know what I'm saying? Um, you said misogyny. Most don't care about women. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Rochelle. That is like that in this climate of hip hop. Um, now, reincarnated is a song about breaking generational curses. Exactly. Right. Reincarnated can't be compared to any song on the fall off. Like, I mean, other than what if, because he's speaking from a perspective of Pac, right? But what if in reincarnation are probably the only two songs, and probably the only two songs that need to be compared to each other on each album. Nothing else. Nothing else. But even though the messages in both songs were completely different, the concepts were the same. We're speaking from we're speaking from respective rappers' standpoint. Well, even in Kendrick's reincarnated, he's rapping like Pac, but we still don't know what perspective he kind of speaking in. We still don't know what, because even in that last verse of Reincarnated, we don't know who he was talking about. But it still was like more aesthetically pleasing and more receptible. I was more receptible in knowing the context of the song on of reincarnation than I did, or reincarnated, than I did on just about any of the songs on the fall off. I understood the assignment on almost every song on GNX than I did on the fall off. And I literally tried understanding the context to a lot of these songs here. Y'all even saw me on stream trying to. But it's hard to digest the album that's like, it's so many songs and they're so long, bro. They're long form songs. Okay, you said Cole raps very well, but he is missing the flair, the hunger, the reason for motherfuckers like me to shut the fuck up. I wanted him to prove me wrong as a fan. Same here. Same here. And I feel like finite from our conversations that we had before, like we're old school hip hop fans. We you don't see fans like us anymore like that, to where we're thinking like that, to like, okay, bro, we like, we want to feel challenged as the listener to listen to listen to our favorite artists. We want to feel challenged. We don't get that no more from fans this day and age. Everybody wants everything up front and up front and right here right now. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you said She's Mine is Cole's Gloria. Hmm. Ooh, hold on. Hold on. You got something there, Mike. And you know what's crazy? Hold on. What track was that? She's Mine. That was on disc 2. I bet you that was on disc 2. Was that on disc 39? Which track was She's Mine? Which track is She's Mine? Is that an old Cole song? Or is that on the album? See, Cole has so many songs in this album, it's hard to remember every one of them too. You I Love Her Again. Is that what you were talking about? Is that what you talking about, Mike? I Love Her Again? I'll see what you're talking about in a minute. But dog, like it's literally nothing on here that you could compare. Like, okay, Kendrick did have he did have some samples on GNX, like of course the Squabble Up sample. I can't remember the old song off that. And then you had the sample on you that mind, yeah. Leave your heart about your mind. That, I forget what song that's called. Is that Gloria? Yeah, that's Gloria. Okay. Okay, so Gloria was sampled. Luther was sampled, of course. I know I'm forgetting some other songs on GNX, right? But but they were like, but the samples and the songs respectively went together so well. Like, I mean, they weren't overly done. Oh, they weren't overly produced. None of that. Gloria is very easy to listen to. Gloria's storytelling. No, that's not Gloria. What was the song where Kendrick was telling the story about him and how he came up with Black Hippie and TDE and them? I forget what song on GNX that is. Um, it's here it goes right here. The Heart Part 6. The Heart Part 6. You can't give me a Heart Part 6 at all on none of Cole's fall off, bro. You can't give me none of, like, cause he doesn't even give us what he should have gave us. Was like, okay, his come up story. Cause okay, how are you giving us this? How are you giving us this promo and this rollout to do a North Carolina trunk tour? selling your CDs out of your trunk of your car like you did with your first mixtape, right? You're giving us a full circle moment, making real moments with your real fans around your home state. But you didn't give us them real moments, the nostalgia, none of that from how you came up or any of that in none of this album. Like the fall off should have been about, okay, your come up back then. Even if you did spit it on the come up like that, we want to hear it again at your perspective right now as a 40-year-old man. We want to hear we want to hear from your perspective right along in your come up. Would have been dope for this album. Oh my God, this album would have been dope as fuck if he would have just said something about his come up in like the beginning part of this one or this 29, right? Then like, you know what I'm saying, give us like, stories about like, things that went on in his career, blah blah blah. Then walk us through, the apology, what really went on, what Schoolboy Q said, how where his mindset was at the time before he made the diss, after he made the apology, what he was thinking on Port Antonio, boom boom boom, right? All the way up into his fall off, which is right now. That would have been a way better story for him to tell from starting off as a rapper or from childhood all the way up until now. That would have been a way better story to tell, to give us more of you, who J. Cole really is in this album, than any other album you had, than what he gave us. If it's real live core fans are satisfied with that, that's fine with me. You know what I'm saying? If y'all are satisfied with if half-ass this and half-ass that, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But at least with Kendrick, we know Kendrick's story. We know Kendrick's story has come up. We know about his story, about his come up. We know about his personal life. We know about his therapy sessions, where his head is, where his stance is with people, with artists, how he felt about what this artist said, what this artist done, all this other stuff. We've heard this from Kendrick before. We have not heard that from Cole just yet. Whenever he did express himself to the public about how he felt about certain things, about certain people, we always got an apology behind that. We always got some sort of form of an apology behind that, bro. Which is bad, bro. Okay. Um She's Mine is on For Your Eyes Only. Oh, okay, got you. Oh yeah, you're right. For Your Eyes only had like 9 songs. For Your Eyes Only was like that was probably J. Cole's shortest project. Um I mean, bro, it only had 9 songs. Each song wasn't any longer than 3 4 minutes. Every song but the last song, which was For Your Eyes. And even then, I seen something about people comparing. There was a video or a clip that I watched about, and this is their opinion. I'm not saying that this is mine alone. There was a clip that I watched of how J. Cole, and I'm not saying this. This was a clip. Someone said how J. Cole has been chasing Kendrick's career, his whole career, right? With the sounds of his albums and the look of and the aesthetics of around those albums, right? People were comparing For Your Eyes Only to Pimper Butterfly, which is kind of the right thing to do, right? Because both of them kind of came out around the same time span. I think about 1 to 2 years apart. One is one is 1 to 2 years older than the other, right? For Your Eyes Only is the older project, but people say that because the way Kendrick structured To Pimp a Butterfly was that was a very revolutionary album, was to be a revolutionary and outspoken album about black culture and cultural issues going on in the world, right? someone put how like Cole at the time was riding that wave of cultural consciousness, and he made the song "Be Free," and and how there was songs on For Your Eyes Only that did talk about like the social conscious um topics and everything, and they was trying to compare that to the tracks and the songs that Kendrick was talking about where he was being socially conscious on To Pimp a Butterfly. Now, where he hit the nail on the coffin for me was, and that comparison was about why was Cole's last song on For Your Eyes Only, which is the same title as the album For Your Eyes Only. Why was that song almost 14 to 15 minutes long, as if he was trying to copy off of Kendrick's Mortal Man, which was almost 10 minutes long? And I kind of looked at that and I was like, okay, he's getting somewhere with that. I see where he's coming from with that. Because I always did see that as like, okay, I kind of side-eyed that for a little bit. Cause I'm like, okay, um, Kendrick just made Mortal Man. Like, why is Cole kind of piggybacking off of that by making his outro a lot longer than Kendrick's and kind of the same content matter too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all kind of get my drift, cause I see the comparisons from like the album to album that they was making, like between Cole and Kendrick, and them saying that like Cole has always tried to chase Kendrick. You feel me? But I mean, I can see what they're talking about. I just always think it's because like Cole was always going to be compared to Kendrick anyway. As was Cole was I mean as was Kendrick was always going to be compared to Cole throughout his career too. You know what I'm saying? Which is why they needed to just go ahead and settle that shit 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And Um, here we are now, almost 2 years later, with J. Cole fans coping with Kendrick fans trying to convince people like me and others that Cole like didn't lose the battle and that Cole is still the better rapper than Kendrick is. It's like you cannot give that to someone who bagged out of the fade. You just can't. You said Cole is dwelling in the past because he don't want to deal with the now. Oh man. Oh man. You might have hit. You might have. Oh man. You might have. Oh man. You might have said something there, bro. Cause he not trying to he not trying to deal with the now. Wow. The reality of things. When the reality of things do set in, that is crazy. You said "Man at the Garden" is a song you could live by, and it's paying homage to Nas One Mic exactly. Kendrick is very. You know what? I'm gonna finish this. You said Kendrick is very good at doing that. Cole tries, but it don't land. You know what, bro? That is right. Cause "Man at the Garden" it is a homage to Nas. The beat, the vibe of the song, the tone of the song, everything is like, it screams homage to Nas, but it doesn't scream appropriation to Nas. You know what I'm saying? These songs from Cole that he tried to like, bombard us with like songs like Old Dog and um Bombs in the Ville, and songs that like he tried to like give us those old elements of southern hip hop in those songs. It just didn't come across. It didn't come across well to me at all. It didn't come across as a homage. It just seemed very forced. Um, it just didn't, because like I never heard Cole ever give homage to that side of hip hop before. You know what I'm saying? I never heard Cole give that type of homage to that side of hip hop before, where he was giving homage to the Petey Pablos and the Ludacris's and like people of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Um, It just felt forced to me, bro. It felt forced to me. But Kendrick, he was able to blend that in very well. Cause like that's another thing with GNX. GNX wasn't overproduced to me, and it wasn't very clunky, bro. It wasn't clunky at all. It didn't have too much, didn't have too little. You know what I'm saying? It had just the right amount of elements in it, and it was thrown together in a matter of just a month or two, bro. You could just tell. As compared to Cole, what's up, Dre? Dre, what's up with it, Dre? You said safety equals Nas. Oh, one love record. Hold on, hold on. Are you trying to say? Okay, I think I know what you're trying to say, Dre. So safety is your comparison to Kendrick's Man at the Garden. Is that what you're trying to say? I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Uh, cause say I mean, cause safety. What beat is sampled in safety? Who's whose song did Cole sample from safety? If you're trying to make that comparison, was whose song did he hold up, bro. I don't want my soundboard to go off too much. Hold on. J. Cole. Cause some of these buttons on my keyboard are connected to sounds on my soundboard. Um J. Cole's safety. Safety. My bad chat, my bad chat. Safety sample. Yep, there we go. Um UNITY. Okay, Queen Latifah. Huh. Huh. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Cause see, this is my thing here, Dre. This is my thing. I just don't see the comparison to the fall off in GNX. I don't think there's any. It shouldn't be any. If we're comparing albums, J. Cole albums to Kendrick albums, especially this one, the fall off, we need to be comparing it to Kendrick's double disc, his own double disc, which is Mr. Morale. Why I say that? Because both albums aesthetically sound the same to me. They don't have the same exact lyrical content, but aesthetically they sound the same, and they're both double albums with very similar tones on each album. Okay, you said Cole safety redone one love. Oh, concept. Cole uses two Nas do overs. Oh, okay, okay. But safety isn't a is a, it, safety is But I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say about safety here though, because safety is sampled by Queen Latifah and not Nas. What Nas do overs? What Nas samples did he have on the album? Because I know I missed some. Because he had a lot of samples on the album that were from older songs that I didn't pick up on each one of them. If y'all know which ones that he did sample, uh, do put it in the chat or put it in the comments if you're rewatching this on the rewatch. But yeah, yeah, not GNX though, not GNX. I just compare. I cannot compare the fall off to GNX. It's just not at all. GNX has 12 songs. GNX has 12 songs that didn't exceed any more than the length of 3 to about 3.5 minutes long on each song. Okay, so Cole's fall off, each song each song was no less than 3 to 4 minutes long, and that's in this climate of hip hop that is hard to listen to. It was like a chore to listen to the album, gang. It's like I see what he's getting at. He wants this to be like non-surface level and something that like we could break down, but it still came out to be surface level. It's really nothing to pick apart about a lot of these lyrics and a lot of these songs, other than Poor Thing and what you call them What If. Yes, like a lot of people like the no, what was it? Not Legacy, but what was the song with Future and Tim's? But see, like a lot of the like not even just a backlash, but a lot of the talk around everything else around this album is overshadowing how successful that song could be. The Future and Tim song with J. Cole. You said the story concept of letters from prison. Mm. The story concept. What do you mean by that, Dre? I'm not catching your drift. I probably caught you there. Um, while I was I don't understand what that means. My bad. You probably have to retype that. But yeah, it's literally nothing else but like maybe those two songs on this album that like what I'm saying that like you could really pick apart and say that you got something out of. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's really it's just really it's just really hard to see what Cole fans are seeing here between the two albums with GNX and the fall off being compared to each other. Like I said, like I've been saying, guys, we need to be talking more about the fall off being compared more to Mr. Morale. We need to be talking more about Might Delete Later being compared to GNX more. And people don't want to do that because which makes more sense because both of them came out in the same year. Why aren't y'all doing that? Why? Because y'all clearly see that as an L for y'all clearly saw that as an L for J. Cole too as well when GNX dropped. Because it not only made the apology look a lot worse, especially after the album being dropped right after Port Antonio dropped. It also made Might Delete Later completely obsolete from the conversation from being album of the year in any talks, whether it be Grammy talks, whether it be talks of the best album for that year in 2024. It just completely put it to shame. It completely put it to shame. So the Cole fans want to sweep that under the rug because they know that Might Delete Later compared to GNX is still a clear L for J. Cole in that comparison. So they want to throw the fall off on here because of recency bias and what have you. But I guarantee you, if Kendrick drops bodies tomorrow, I'ma say it again. If Kendrick drops bodies tomorrow, no, everyone's forgetting about Cole's whole album. Everyone, even the Cole fans, because they're gonna turn all their attention to bodies and to try to shit on it, and not and they'll try to shit on bodies before they'll try uplifting Cole's album again. I promise you. I promise you. You said GNX got 12 songs with 12 different flows. Exactly. Even different voice characters with which makes his storytelling impeccable. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, bro. And he did that with only 12 songs, with each songs being no more than 3 minutes and 30 seconds. He got his point across in each of those songs. Like GNX it isn't even an hour. GNX isn't even an hour long album, bro. It's just as long as an episode of Game of Thrones, bro. That's just the amount of time that the listener of today's hip hop ear. That's how much we're giving it. Nigga, we not even getting them type of long songs from like real hippity hop niggas like Black Thought and and we not in people like shoot, bro. I just named Black Thought just because I listened to him the other day, and even his more recent songs aren't as long as these songs that we got on the Fall Off. You know what I'm saying? And he's a rapidy rap ass nigga that I really fuck with. But even he knows the climate of today's hip hop ear is what I'm saying, and he's J. Cole's elder. He even knows I can't drop a song that's 5 minutes long, even if I am rapping my ass off. Ain't nobody trying to listen to that. Bro, you got to be able to read the room, gang. You said Death to Slim Shady. Oh, hold on. Let me take a deep breath before I read this. Let me take a deep breath before, because you speaking to a former Eminem fan here. I say former because Eminem to me has tainted his legacy throughout the years post recovery album, and we could talk about that too in a little bit, but not for too long. But what did you say about this? You said the death of Slim Shady wiped down might delete later from any award chances. Okay, now we're talking awards here. Now I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Okay, because the death of Slim Shady just, I mean, of course, by Eminem alone is it's Eminem. You're not gonna like you're not beating Eminem in well the Grammys and Eminem have had a bad relationship for I don't know how long, but whenever Eminem drops, he still gets nominated at the Grammys, and it's very hard to win against Eminem when he does drop a full cohesive project. Okay, so he wins by default in a lot of the award shows' eyes because in a sense, Eminem is still kind of a babyface to the hip hop industry. Okay, but I get what you're saying. In the death of Slim Shady, when it did come out, I feel like the death of Slim Shady came out at the wrong time, but it did muddy up a lot of J. Cole's waters. But the battle itself, I mean, in the apology itself, it wasn't louder. It wasn't louder than that. It wasn't louder than that. The battle and J. Cole's apology is what really put the nail in the coffin on that one. Um, so Mike, you said Drake is scared to drop because he knows Kendrick is going to drop on him like he did Family Matters with Meet the Grams. I don't know about that, Mike. I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, I think Kendrick is done with that part of his trolling on Drake. He sees he might pull a Jay Z. I'm not saying that it ain't never gonna happen, but I don't know if him dropping his album over Iceman is I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that would look now. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Kendrick knowing that all people are saying is, "Oh, well, all Kendrick all Kendrick's success right now is attributed to Drake. He could thank Drake for his success that he's having right now. He can't do nothing without mentioning Drake." I think he wants to wipe that stigma off his name. So, I don't know about him dropping right when Drake drops. But I mean, I could see him dropping a project maybe like the same year, the same. I don't know. I just don't see him trying to do that to Drake at not right now, not at this moment. But that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Um, let's see. GNX got 10 hits, the fall off zero. GNX, let's talk about how GNX, how damn near like you said, 10 hits, right, Dre? How 10 songs debuted on the Billboard from GNX. Didn't have no promo behind it, but it probably had 1 to 2 days worth of promo behind it, and that was it. He had 10 songs on the Billboard Hot 100. 10 songs out of 12 albums were on his Hot 100, bro. We can't even name 3 songs that are going on the Billboard from the fall off. Name 3 of them. Name 3 of them. I can't honestly. I can't honestly. Now, Finite said you're interested to hear my take on M. You still mess with M heavy personally. You liked the Death of Slim Shady. Well, here's my take on M. All right. I was a real big Eminem fan growing up. Especially in middle school through high school into some of my adulthood. All right. But Eminem post his recovery album has tainted his legacy as a lyricist, because he it's always a time where you just feel like you need to be, because he didn't read the room. He didn't read the room too well neither. He kept wanting to rap and kept wanting to be placed in everyone's top 5, and trying to like even step on like other rappers that were coming up around like the early 2010s and stuff, right? Because of the way music was transitioning back then. Like music was transitioning from like one sound to another in between those times. During those times, Eminem, like that's when Eminem had like Slaughterhouse. That's when Griselda started coming up, right? But Eminem was trying to keep up with these lyricists instead of like trying to, stick to his strengths. You know what I'm saying? Which was his storytelling, which was his fucking attitude and everything, right? And he just got really rapidy rap out of nowhere. Like he stopped rapping about his personal life and just started like rapping about freaking eggs in a basket and what have you, bro. Like just anything, bro. He just was rapping about anything, and it was as a fan, bro, it was getting hard to listen to. When he dropped the the Slim Shady LP Part 2, that's when I had enough of Eminem, because he was never supposed. Some projects should never be revisited, and some projects should never have sequels to them, bro. The Slim Shady, not the Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP Part 2 was my last straw. My bad. The Marshall Mathers LP Part 2 was my last straw, because the Marshall Mathers LP was Eminem's best album, was his greatest album of all time. That album is still in my top, like my top 5, top 10 albums, period, ever, because like that was one of the first rap albums that I really gravitated towards when I first started understanding lyricism in hip hop in middle school. All right. And the time that dropped and came out was like the same effect that the Marshall Mathers LP gave off at that time when it dropped, was the same effect that GNX gave off at the time when GNX dropped, bro. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. If you was there for both, y'all know what I'm talking about. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. So he should have never revisited the Marshall Mathers LP. He should have just left it alone, and just like if he wanted to make an album like that, just a conceptual album, just to rap about it, just make it into a new title. Don't tie it into your best album, your best work that you've ever put out. So that was the last straw, right? Um, then he drops Hold on. Then he drops like he drops a few things that I was questionable about in between then, but then he drops Kamikaze. Kamikaze I kind of liked because he got back to the old Eminem. But he had an album right before that. It was like a Beastie Boys tribute album. That I was like, bro, you could have just left that alone, bro. Like that just made it even worse. But Kamikaze dropped. I was fucking with that. I was like, okay, he's getting back to the old M. Then he battled MGK. Then I was like, okay, he really getting back to the old M. But then he drops music to be murdered by, and I was just so like that was I had the same type of disappointment for that album like I do now with J. Cole's The Fall Off. The Eminem's music to be murdered by was the same, had the same effect on me as the fall off did with J. Cole. I was like, what are you doing, bro? We needed some flame, bro. I felt like that with music to be murdered by, and I felt like that with the fall off with Cole. You know what I'm saying? So I had the same exact reaction for both albums, okay? So like yes, I was an Eminem fan growing up. Eminem was my GOAT growing up. But as time went by, to me, Eminem tainted his legacy and it ruined his spot on my GOAT list for me as the time went by, bro. So yeah, that's my take on M, bro. You but yeah, let's get back to Cole though in what I was saying about Kendrick and stuff. They said Mike said Kendrick added a new verse to Bodies at the Super Bowl, and he has one more verse to add. Oh, you are right. I forgot he did perform Bodies at the Super Bowl. He did perform Bodies at the Super Bowl, but like I said though, if he released that full version tomorrow, no matter what, like Kendrick could drop anytime right now, and it will overshadow everything that J. Cole has done over the past few days. Because you're gonna have J. Cole fans, Drake fans, and Kendrick fans all engaging with it and not bigging up their respective artists. They're all going to be trying to shoot down Kendrick at the same time instead of trying to put the album on the pedestal that the album that they wanted to put on the pedestal in the first place. They'll be too busy trying to shoot down Kendrick, discredit Kendrick instead of trying to put more emphasis and put more credit on Cole and what he just dropped. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be overcompensation everywhere if he were to drop Bodies or just anything, any type of body of work if he were to drop tomorrow. Um, okay. Mike says Good Kid, Mad City, Damn, to Pepper Butterfly are all still on the top 100. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Good Kid, Mad City. Over a decade later, the longest hip hop album to be on the Billboard Top 100 ever. No one's ever done that before. And I mean, and that's saying a lot from an album that's to this day still sounds fresh and new, bro. Not a lot of albums have that kind of aura. You know what I'm saying? Not even Drake's Take Care. And Drake's Take Care at the time, more mainstream wise, had more impact than Good Kid, Mad City did. And it still can't touch the timelessness of Good Kid, Mad City. All right. Um, M versus Cole in the battle. Who wins? Eminem. Eminem, just straight up Eminem. Especially if Eminem gets in his fuck it bag and wants to do research on Cole. It's like Cole. People don't understand like the skeletons in Cole's closet that like that are still coming out because like I mean the whole fight between him and Diddy happened like a while ago. That was over 10 years ago when Control dropped. That was like 2013 gang, 2014. So the fight between Cole and Diddy had to have happened at least 12 to 13 years ago or less than that. So like stuff like that is just coming out. The no name stuff just resurfaced in the last 2 or 3 years. You got stuff that Tasha K has, even though Tasha K can't always be taken as credible. But it's like, what is she doing speaking on someone like J. Cole? She even has dirt on Cole about him and his cheating problem, if allegedly, if it's true, about him having children out of wedlock, having other children outside the family that he's already built himself. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you could take that as you want, but like, I mean, it's so many different things that like, that have come out on Cole over the past few years or so since the battle that are still being out that I think Eminem could use to his advantage in the battle. It's like Cole really can't say much about Eminem that hasn't already been said about Eminem. You know what I'm saying? So I got M all day in the battle over Cole. And only because Eminem has never lost a battle anyway. Um, it's just that like the battle test it always gets they always gets the over the under. They always get the over the under. Whoever's battle tested the most. Um, You said that's fair. I'm captivated by technical skill, but everything you said is fair. And Cole smokes Eminem. No, and Eminem smokes Cole. Oh, my bad. I read that backwards. Um, Kendrick samples on GNX were all from around the year the car was made. Oh, what? I never even picked that up. That's a good pickup, Mike. I don't even know if too many other people like content creators have even picked that up, bro. Maybe some TikTokers have like have said it, but I don't get on TikTok that often. But I damn sure didn't notice that. You yeah, you opened up a new can of worms for me right there, Mike. Zod the finite says there's a theory that Kendrick drops the 13th. That okay, which I've heard, which is this Friday. If he does, do you think he is going to cone or come at anybody? Game, Joey, Cole, Drake, etc. I wonder if Cole is trying to embody Pac. Is trying to piss him off by embodying Pac. I think you know. I know what you're talking about too, and what you're mentioning. Finite. I believe I saw Jalopy Bungus. He made a theory on Kendrick maybe dropping on the 13th this Friday. Um, I don't know if he said anything about it being an album or a song, whatever. But I didn't even look at the video that he made on that, which I should, and I should react to that. But I do see where a surprise drop could come in at any point from him because I mean a lot of people have been throwing shade his way, like Game. Um, I heard even like some subliminals might have been on Kendrick, even with this new snippet that Drake has put out. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Um, Game did call Kendrick outside a couple of weeks ago with his with his new freestyle that he put out. Um, I should do a reaction to that. But I don't want this video to be too long. I'm already 2 hours in. But I have not listened to that song. I only heard that clip where he was kind of calling out Kendrick, but he kind of wasn't. It was kind of like he was, but he didn't want to, but he was. It's like, bro, just say that you want the smoke, bro. Just say that you want the smoke. That's how I felt about it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kendrick does throw a stray Game's way whenever he does touch down on us with a new song. Cause I do think what was it, Whacked Out Murals? Where whichever track where Kendrick was talking about where Kendrick said he think he knew me since just because he think he knew me since he's a kid. he could say whatever he wants to me or whatever. I forgot which song that was where Kendrick said just because he think he knew me since he was a kid. I think he was talking about Game on that track because Game has mentioned about how he's known Kendrick since like he was in high school and all this other shit. So I feel like he's already thrown. I feel like he's already thrown strays at Game already. Like why wouldn't he after what Game did after the pop out where he was bitching and complaining about not being invited to the pop out. Also siding with Drake with certain tweets and stuff around that time post battle. You know what I'm saying? It's like if Kendrick mentioned Snoop and how he felt about Snoop posting TaylorMade and whacked out murals, then I wouldn't put it past him to throw in the straight to Game because of how Game was acting around that same time too. You know what I'm saying? So if he does come out with anything soon and say anything about Game, I wouldn't be surprised because it's warranted. Game wants this too, which kind of makes me also feel like that's probably why Kendrick won't even respond to that because he knows that's what Game wants and needs for his career. So I don't know if Kendrick would entertain that. Uh, Joey, I don't think he's gonna I don't think he's gonna say anything to Joey. There were interviews with Rayvon and recent interviews with Rayvon and with Joey where both were saying that they both spoke to Kendrick during that Joey Badass and West Coast battle. Kendrick, I think Joey said Kendrick reached out to Joey. Kendrick said $1 million worth of Game, I believe, around the time his album rolled out last year, that Kendrick reached out to Joey and said that he likes what he did, he likes what he's doing, and to keep it up. So I don't think because Kendrick liked what Joey did last year by going at everybody in the West. And Kendrick didn't step in because he wanted other artists in the West to get that notoriety and shine that they were trying to get the West Coast to have at that time. That whole beef last year was orchestrated, and we could tell. And I already like Zai, you were here with me that whole time when we were breaking it down. I broke it down to you about how I already thought it was orchestrated because niggas was already hearing about each other's freestyles before they was dropping each other's freestyles. Like Daylight already heard the Red Bull freestyle that Joey put out with Ab Soul and Big Sean before it was put out to us. That's why we got Backpack last year because Ab Soul already let Daylight hear the freestyle before all of us did. And it was like, you know, all of that was orchestrated, gang. So I don't really think that Kendrick's going to say anything to Joey ever. Especially because like I mean Joey it's not even just that. Joey just cannot live up to that type of complexity and lyricism uh, uh, in a battle with someone like Kendrick. He just doesn't live up to that. He only gets the Rayvons. He only gets the Daylights. Not to say that they're not incredible artists, but that's the closest that he'll ever get to battling Kendrick. You said, can I name hold up, can you name the samples on GNX as a part of the concept album? Um well I'll do that in hold on. Let me GNX samples sample list. Let's do that real quick. That was an interesting that was interesting finding out after all this time that all the samples on GNX were homages to songs that came out the same year that the GNX was manufactured and sold. Now, Let's see what was sampled. Okay, TV off. TV off was sampled by, or was sampled from, I should say, MacArthur Park by Monk Higgins. I don't think I've ever heard that. If I have, I never knew the name of the song. The Black Hole by the Black Hole Overture by John Barry. And okay, I'm Good by YG. Oh, really? Really? So I'm Good by YG was in TV off? I would have never thought about that. I would have never heard that. Okay. Now, okay. Not all of the songs were sampled, and I should have known this. Not all of the songs were sampled as the same year as the GNX were, because Outlaws by Tupac, I mean, no, Made Niggas by Tupac and the Outlaws was the sample for Reincarnated. And I knew that off the rip because I mean I listen to pop. Made Niggas is that's one of my favorite pop songs, just period. Along with the um the Outlaws on there. You know what I'm saying? Um so I knew that off the gate. That came out in '96. Now Squabble Up. Now I Want to Hear Music by Debbie Deb. That was made in 1983. And Lovers by Victory. 20. Hold up. What? I don't know what. Okay. Whatever. So okay, the main sample in Squabble Up was When I Hear Music by Debbie Deb. Okay, and some of our parents know that song. Um, okay, so Luther by SZA, I mean by Kendrick and SZA. Of course, we know If This World Were Mine by Cheryl Lynn and Luther Vandross. If this world were mine, I used to love that song. Like my mother loves that song, and my mother does not like Luther, the song Luther with Kendrick and SZA. Because she she says that it just doesn't live up to the original song. And I mean, of course, our parents would say that. Of course, our parents would say that. You said around the year of the GNX. That's what I'm saying. Are you saying that the year of the GNX is the car year? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what I interpreted it as. Is you saying that the samples came from the same year that the car was manufactured and sold to the public? That's how I took it. Maybe I was wrong. But you said TV off is the Superman song. What Superman song? Uh and hold on. I just read what you said, Rochelle. You said Joey hasn't evolved his sound. You're right about that one. You were right about that. Um, because I heard that last album and it did But okay. So you said TV off is the Superman song. Okay, what Superman song though? Oh, the bum 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 bum. Okay, that part. Okay, I could hear what you're talking about now. You know what's crazy about that part is I don't know how true this is, but they said that Kendrick's mustard, like that part was inspired by and this is allegedly that they said that part was inspired by Dragon Ball and going Super Saiyan when Kendrick heard the drop to turn his TV off. Like I can hear it because when Goku transformed into Ultra Instinct, the same time, I wouldn't say the same exact horns were being played during that sound, but like when you hear the second part of TV off, dun, 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 it kind of sounds the same. The two sounds kind of sound the same. So but now that you said it's the Superman sound, I can hear that. I hear it clear and plain as day now. I know what you're talking about. But okay, let's continue. So okay, the heart part 6 is SWV. Use your heart. There was a lot of talk about that around the time that song came out, and I remember it being SWV now. Um, Hey Now was sampled, and that's with Dodie Six. That was sampled from Scotty by D4L. What? D4L the group? Good, shake that laffy taffy. That laffy taffy. That da da da. Oh, that Chico stick. That D4L nigga, what? That da da da. Oh, that Chico stick. You serious, gang? That was in Hey Now. Hey Now is one of my favorite on GNX. I would have never. And then the traditional folk song "Eeny Meeny Miny Mo" was sampled. How? Hey Now was one of my favorite songs on GNX. How these two songs, Scotty and "Eeny Meeny Miny Mo," they got one more song that said it's sampled, and it's "No More" by Metro Boomin featuring Travis Scott, Kodak Black, and 21 Savage. What? See, I never would have known, bro. Man, I'm just finding all this out. This is funny. Peekaboo, one of my other favorite songs on there. That was sampled by Give Me a Helping Hand and I'm settling. And see, that part right there, that's where the whole theory started, where the whole extentation theory started with Kendrick and Drake and their connection with that sample alone, bro. With the helping hand challenge by XXX that's a very interesting theory, man. Shout out to Thought Crimes, who was the originators of that theory. Shout out to Thought Crimes. I do watch their channel. Um, what else? Gloria, that was sampled by Combo Impacto. I don't know. I feel like I should know that sample though. Gloria. Okay. Man at the Garden. I'm surprised Man at the Garden didn't have credits sampled. The credits weren't sampled, or the credits weren't sampled to One Mic by Nas. I'm surprised by that, bro. I'm surprised by that. Cause it's clear as day that that's a ode and a homage to One Mic. You know what I mean? But that's interesting, bro. That's interesting. Dang, we talked about GNX a lot more. Well, no, we talked about a lot of J. Cole too. But it still goes to show, like, you know what I'm saying, the comparisons here um between the fall off and GNX. There is none. There is none. Every song on the fall off sounds different than every song on GNX, and they're not even the same amount of songs. But if you want to pick the first 12 from disc 29 on the fall off, the first 12 songs as compared to all 12 songs on GNX, bro, it's still no comparison here. Still no comparison here. Still none. It's still none. It's all forced. It's all forced upon between fan bases, bro. Let's all get a grip, okay? Whacked Out Murals is Friends by Houdini. Ooh. Why didn't they say that? Why didn't they say that here in the wiki? That's interesting. Hmm. But I mean, in general though, guys, like every any album that we listening to now, especially like from like, niggas who give us that essence of hip hop every time, like a J. Cole or a Kendrick or anyone else that we put in that same caliber as those lyricists and those artists, they're gonna have samples in their music. I mean, hip hop did piggyback off of sampling other songs and music. Like I mean, and it's always been like that. Even from the times of the golden era up until now, songs are still being sampled. You know what I'm saying? Um, but the use of the samples, you know what I mean? The use of the samples were different from GNX to the fall off. The use of the samples on the fall off, I feel to me, were for they were forced and they were appropriated instead of being looked at as a homage. It just felt forced. That's just my opinion, though. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is inclined to their own opinion. Those are just my opinions, okay? But yeah, we talked a lot about the comparisons between the fall off and GNX. Like I said earlier, and still now, man, I don't feel like there is any. Um, I just feel like it's just bitter fan bases trying to discredit one artist just to try to uplift another. You know what I'm saying? Because they were mad that their favorite artist or their goat didn't participate in the battle and is getting backlash for it, which rightfully so. If Kendrick had apologized, everyone would have been on everyone would have been on his ass, including me as a bigger Kendrick fan than a J. Cole fan. I would have gave Kendrick 1,000. I would have gave Kendrick 1,000 had he apologized for making like that and bagging out on dissing Cole and Drake. I would have never forgave him for that. And neither should you all have as hip hop fans. It's just that when it's your artist that we're talking about, oh, everyone loses their minds. I need to get that sound. I need to get that soundboard. I need to get that sound bite of my soundboard. From Heath Ledger's Joker. Everyone loses their minds because I mean that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what happens when when you bring up any type of opinion against J. Cole or saying that you weren't rocking with this about J. Cole or wasn't rocking with this about Drake or wasn't rocking with this about Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna show up with pitchforks and torches at your doorstep trying to say that you were wrong about this and that. So it comes with the territory. But lastly, guys, let's talk about this comparison that a lot of people are trying to make between Bad Bunny's performance at the Super Bowl as compared to um Kendrick's Super Bowl performance. Hold on. Wait a minute. Before we talk about that, I gotta address this. Now, some of y'all heard about the game and how he's been bigging up this Fall Off album by Cole. He did a whole breakdown track by track on which tracks that he did like, and he did like a whole synopsis on this, right? It's just weird to me how he does this with Cole not even a week or two later after he just dropped a shot subbing at, well, not even subbing at Kendrick, dropping Kendrick's name and what looked to be him calling him out to battle for being the best in Compton, which we know Game to do shit like this in so many different angles, from him dissing 50 Cent to him taking it back, dissing 50 and him taking it back, him dissing 50 and him taking it back over and over and over again, him dissing Eminem and taking it back, him dissing Eminem again and them taking it back over and over. We've seen game like in these antics before, you know what I'm saying, just trying to cry for a battle and cry for attention. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is the same ploy here with him doing this breakdown, track by track for Cole. You feel me? And I think it's just another shot at him trying to like take a little undercut shot at Kendrick, like he's been doing over the past couple of years. Okay. Now, you said Dodger Blue is Computer Love by right. Oh yes, that is right. Dodger, that's a dead giveaway too. You're right. Dodger Blue is Computer Love. Um, is Computer Love. Okay. Now, but let's end the live off by talking about the comparisons between Bad Bunny's performance and Kendrick's performance. Now, I believe it was Mike that said this earlier. Mike said earlier about the comparison between Kendrick's performance and Bad Bunny's performance, how it could have inspired Bad Bunny's performance because of the look, the aesthetic, and the message, the message of the performances. You know what I'm saying? The transitions, the story that Bad Bunny was trying to tell us in the performance. You know what I'm saying? But you got people like academics, DJ academics trying to shit on on one artist to try to big up another. Ack was talking about, and I'm trying to find the tweet where he said it, cause I saved it. Um, Ack was talking about how more pleased he was with Bad Bunny's performance than he was with Kendrick's, right? Saying that Kendrick's performance was a PSA, as a public service announcement to for PDFs, okay, notably Drake, right? Trying to downplay and discredit Kendrick's performance from last year, which is still to this day the most watched Super Bowl performance ever. Okay. I don't even know if Bad Bunny. I don't think Bad Bunny even broke Kendrick's record. If he did, then they would have been talking about it right now. Okay. But I want to say this because there are breakdowns. There are think pieces on what people interpreted Bad Bunny's performance as, right? And people interpreted us looking into where Bad Bunny has come from, the culture, us looking more into the culture from this performance. But when Kendrick did it, it was a problem. When Kendrick did the same thing, telling the story about the state of our country, just like how Bad Bunny told the story about the state of his country. And I think some of the history of his country too, and some of the symbolism in his performance. It was no blood, no foul. It went unbothered by anyone. People said it. Oh, he got his message across so well. But when Kendrick did it, it was a problem. This is what I'm talking about, bro. Where you got voices from, because you got to think about it. These are people that are Drake fans. Bad Bunny's fan base and Drake's fan base. They're Bad Bunny's fan base is and Drake's fan base they have the same fan base, bro. They have the same fan base, bro. Not the same exact fan base because you got fans who listen to Drake who only listen to rap, like in nothing else. But you got Bad Bunny fans who listen to Drake but no other rap artist but Drake, but listen to Bad Bunny and everything else. You see what I'm saying? You got these type of fans who participated in the battle during Drake's battle with Kendrick that are commenting these type of things, and we cannot take them but for a grain of salt. You cannot take biased opinions too personal or serious at all. Okay? You said, finite, you said as an Afro Latino yourself, you love this. You're not Puerto Rican, but it was dope to see another piece of America get this shine. The racists were yep, they were big mad, but Kendrick's was legendary. And I want to say this. I'm not saying anything was because I enjoyed Bad Bunny's performance. Bad Bunny, even I didn't understand everything. I rewatched it today with subtitles on it, so I understood some things he was saying. And he was and he was very entertaining throughout the whole performance. And the songs, I like the songs. I never listened to Bad Bunny before ever, but like from the stuff that I heard, I'm like, bro, this is fucking dope, right? My problem here is the Drake fans and the J. Cole fans who are trying to like shove Kendrick into the conversation immediately to try to like discredit his performance last year, even though it's still the most watched Super Bowl performance of all time. That's what I have a problem with. Because Bad Bunny had a message in his performance too, but it's no backlash on it other than like the extreme leftists. You know, the extreme MAGA hats. You know what I'm saying? Cause they're the ones that have a problem. They're the ones that have a problem with it. But other than that, everyone else loved the performance. But even the ones who are glazing the performance, they were the same ones. They were the same ones last year who had a problem with Kendrick and his message to America on last year's performance. Niggas want to dwindle it down and try to water it down to being, oh, it was a PSA, it was a public service announcement for PDFs, like as academic says, which is the most unintellectual answer to that whole scenario that you could possibly give, because it was more than the performance was way more than just dissing Drake. The performance was letting us know what direction us as Americans are going into. Not like us was just in dissing Drake just a little bit here and there was just the cherry on top. That wasn't the main course of the meal. That was not the main course. Academics love spinning narratives, so he watered it down to saying that it was a PSA for PDFs. When you could clearly see that there's a Kendrick influence in Bad Bunny's performance. Clearly. And you know what's even crazier? Bad Bunny's performance was way more provocative. It was way more provocative than Kendrick's performance was. Kendrick's performance was way more family friendly than Bad Bunny's performance was. I seen dancers grabbing titties. I seen dancers were grabbing titties during the performance. Men were dancing on men. If they were doing that during Kendrick's performance, do you know the type of backlash and ridicule that Kendrick would have had gotten having two men dancing on each other during his performance? Just because it's Kendrick. Just because it's Kendrick and he doesn't have the online voice louder than his detractors. They would have cut him a new one. Oh, you seen the man dancing in Kendrick's performance last night? Man, worst Super Bowl performance of all time. But no one batted an eye. No one batted an eye during Bad Bunny's performance. And that's not to take away from the performance at all, because it was still a dope performance. I'm just saying, let's let's cut the shit. Y'all are selective about what you guys are outraged about. Because it could mean praising Kendrick at the moment. And if it does, everyone loses their minds. Oh, I'm getting that soundbite, chat. I'm getting that soundbite. What y'all talking about in the chat? He said Bad Bunny diss LeBron and diss Kendrick and diss Drake. Hold on, what? He dissed Kendrick where? You gonna have to send me a clip of that. I didn't hear no like. I seen the tweets with people saying that he dissed LeBron. I seen that part. He didn't say nothing crazy though, bro. He just said like was it a soccer champion or something like that? Somebody in another athlete. He was talking about how another athlete got a championship before LeBron. That wasn't really nothing too crazy, bro. I don't really look at that as a diss. That ain't really a diss to me. Uh, you said MAGA hated them both, but nah. Okay, Mike, MAGA. Remember, Trump was praising Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance last year. I did a live on that. Sometime around this time last year. Trump tweeted about how he liked Kendrick's performance. And he even mentioned "not like us" in that tweet. So, I mean, more MAGA. I mean, because Trump tweeted about how he really didn't about how he despised the Super Bowl performance for this year, and he wrote about how he really loved Kendrick's last year. So it's more MAGA hate on this year's Super Bowl performance than it was last year's. But I'm just saying, more people are praising this year's Super Bowl performance only because they praising this year only because they only to bring down Kendrick's performance this year is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people are praising Bad Bunny's performance to only try to discredit and bring down Kendrick's performance from last year. It's like I've been saying since the beginning of the live. They try to bring one artist down to lift one up, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that always seems to be Kendrick, the one that they trying to bring down. Because like I said earlier still, and I'm going to keep repeating this. The Drake fans, the J. Cole fans, and the Bad Bunny fans have way louder voices on the internet than the Kendrick fans, who tend to try to stay away from socials. Okay? But like I said though, bro, like it really shouldn't be this much fuss over whose performance was better. Um when I believe both should be enjoyed in the same type of way. Both artists should be like both performances should have like their own lives to have to live instead of like conflating each cuz come on bro, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here if we're getting mad at Kendrick's message in in his performance when Bad Bunny's was damn near the same message um in Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance, bro? What is the matter? What is the matter? What is the matter? You said people want to be right, but don't want to fight for what is right. It's bigger than the music, but fan bases lose sight because they stuck on idols. Exactly, bro. And it's hard for them to see the bigger picture. It's hard for them to see past the trees in the forest. It's hard for them to see the forest because that big old weeping willow just sitting right there in front of them that they just can't get their minds and eyes off of. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. You say they both are musical plays, right? Those I feel like you're yes you're right up the alley that I'm trying to go down too, Mike. I I see what you're saying there. That both performances were plays, and I do yes. I do pick that up from both performances. You're right. You said there is a college course on Kendrick's Super Bowl before. Oh, okay. I've heard about college courses on Kendrick and his rap lyrics, but on the Super Bowl performance alone, I can see that because I'm not gonna lie, I was dibbling and dabbling into the Dark Kenny Reddit for a little bit, and I still do every now and then just to see what they talk about on there. I don't believe everything they say on that bit, but a lot of it is interesting. And there was a lot of like think pieces and PowerPoints and articles on what the Super Bowl performance symbolism was about and everything. You know what I'm saying? People was bringing up the Squid Games and what the PlayStation controller meant, and the square, the circle, the triangle symbolism, and how he brought that to his world tour, and him wearing the X on his chain. All this stuff, like you know what I'm saying, was being broken down. So I could understand them having a college course on it because yes, that needed to be studied. That definitely needed to be studied, bro. So that's interesting. Um, you said you gotta get it. Yeah, man. I appreciate you for pulling up on me though, Five Night. I think this is your second time saying that too, because I've been live for almost 3 hours. And I am gonna be getting up out of here in a sec too myself. But I feel like since I've taken such a long hiatus away from streaming that I've had a lot of stuff that I've been wanting to say to y'all, and I feel like I owe you guys a lot of time to like you know what I'm saying to give y'all some content and so we could all like you know what I'm saying build from these live streams and you know what I'm saying keep these going cuz I am going to be back I'm going to try to stream either every day this week or every other day this week with some type of news involving hip hop and these type of topics, you know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, you said Kendrick changed the way Super Bowl halftimes are done. You know what, man? I be, I think you might be right, but it's too soon because of I mean it's only just been one performance since then. So until we could see like one more performance that's kind of looking like it's in that same format, I wouldn't jump to the conclusions to say that he changed the way Super Bowl performances are done just period like in general. I would say give it like a couple more performances, but uh he definitely um he had a game changing performance. Like his performance last year changed the game, and it definitely set the bar high, really high for the next coming performances, um, for the Super Bowl performances coming up in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, no one's ever had to decipher a Super Bowl as much as that one before, ever. You know what I'm saying? People are still bringing it up to this day. We done have way more controversial Super Bowl moments during the halftime than that. I mean, remember the Janet Jackson nipple slip? Yeah, that I mean that wasn't more. I mean, up until Kendrick performing, and no, up until Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Kendrick and M and all them performed um, at the halftime show. That was the biggest moment in Super Bowl halftime history. Was the nipple slip? You say you really enjoyed the content. None is biased. Appreciate it, Mike. Appreciate it, bro. I'm just being that's why I'm here, cause I'm trying to even the playing grounds and be objective as possible. You feel me? And every artist, even the artist that I like, every artist could catch a fade. I'm talking about verbally. Any artist could catch a fade. Like any artist, it could get roasted up in here. You feel me? Even if Kendrick go off a tangent and go left and do some dumb shit. As big a fan as I am of Kendrick, I'm still gonna roast Kendrick if he does some dumb shit. But he's yet to show his hand, and he's very calculating, and he's been able to, like, you know what I'm saying, move very well through these turbulent times post battle without him having to say anything. So you really can't, like, you really can't throw dirt on somebody who's moving like that. Not too much, unless you thinking too deeply into it and you coming up with your own conclusion on it. And most of the time you're wrong. Like most of the time you could be wrong because it's like you never had a conversation with this artist. You don't Kendrick doesn't know you. You don't know what goes on in this person's personal life. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, you could only make it up in your mind, but so many times what you think of this artist. And they're not even coming out with stuff on their own to give you uh to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, you said the American flag was front and center, and center of both. Exactly. Exactly. That was another thing. I didn't want to look too deep into the American flag thing neither, because I was like, okay, that's too much of a dead giveaway that the performance this year was inspired by Kendrick's last year. But come on, gang. Let's be real. You're right. Uh because we started out the performance last year on the flag. Didn't Kendrick? Yeah, he came out the GNX. He performed bodies on the American flag, and that's when he started walking to the shapes on the football field. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, that kind of gave it away for me too, like the flags and stuff like that. Cause none of Bad Bunny's music, none of Bad but like okay, when I was looking at the performance again today, Bad Bunny's performance again today, and I had those subtitles running. None of those songs that Bad Bunny performed last night, not to me, were like songs that scream revolution, like lyrically, not lyrically. The sounds of them, some of the songs sound like, you know what I'm saying, you could go to war with some of the songs, especially that last song he performed, where he walked out with all the flags, all the different American flags. But when you look at the lyrics of the songs, it's like he's not even talking about anything revolutionary. It's like a lot of partying, a lot of meeting up with women in different countries, a lot of traveling he's talking about in his music. It's not really saying anything. It doesn't, none of his songs that he performed last night screamed revolution to me at all. But the message behind it did. So it's like that's another dead giveaway. It's like your songs didn't even have the same type of content that you're displaying in this performance. So yes, so now I could now I see more and more as I explain it, Mike. I see more and more what you're saying by Bad Bunny's Bad Bunny's performance was inspired by Kendrick's in some type of way. Because the more and more I explain it, it's like becoming more and more obvious to me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the light poles too. That's what I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to feel like that was a reach, but you're right. I didn't want to feel like I was reaching when I seen that the light poles was in Bad Bunny's um performance. He had like 4 or 5 light poles where he was performing on one, and he had like dancers on the other ones and stuff like that. But Kendrick had the light pole where the man was. he was looking like he was sleeping on top of the light pole during the Man at the Garden segment of his performance. Kendrick's light pole symbolism doesn't even go back to that. Kendrick's light pole symbolism goes back to his PG Lane promotions back in his early uh promotional days, like when he first started promoting PG Lane. He's been had that symbolism. Even before that, Kendrick has music videos when he was still with TDE where he's rapping on top of a damn light pole or a street light. You know what I'm saying? I've seen no one else do that before. So yes, you're right about that. The light pole thing kind of it gave it away too. Kendrick even had like light pole references in his "Not Like Us" video. So yeah, like I never you never seen any light pole references before Kendrick's performance and before Bad Bunny's performance. Not at no not at no Super Bowl. So you're right. I get that. I get that. I get that. I get that. You said they both had street. Yeah. You just I just read what you wrote. I thought you wrote something new. Kendrick takes way more risk creatively than Cole and Drake, and he does, and he's been doing that since "To Pimp a Butterfly." Well, he's been doing that. Period. But like, what was obvious to me when he was pushing the envelope with his sound and trying to take risk on new different sounds and stuff was when he made "To Pimp a Butterfly" because it sounded nothing like uh Good Kid, Mad City. A lot of people wanted Kendrick to make Good Kid, Mad City Part 2. Like not the name, not to title the album that, but people wanted the same kind of feel and vibes from him back then. Um After before dropping "To Pimp a Butterfly." Cuz when he dropped "To Pimp a Butterfly," it was like a lot of people, it had to grow on a lot of people at the time. "To Pimp a Butterfly" was not an instant classic when it came out. It wasn't. It had to grow on people over time. Even myself. Like I loved it when it came out, but like it just sounds better and better and better to me as the more and more time goes on, bro. Like to Pimp a Butterfly. To me it does. Now, I'm trying to think. Like what else like can I say that where he took risks and I mean he took risks by putting out his untitled album that LeBron said that he made him put that out. He tried to convince him to put that out. Um which could be very well true, but whatever, who knows. But Kendrick also people don't even remember the Black Panther album. For, we got to give Kendrick his credit, y'all, because like for one, Kendrick was a part of one of the biggest cultural movements, like you know what I'm saying, in our generation, which was the Black Panther, which was the whole Black Panther era. That whole era of Black Panther, to this day, is so slept on because of how anticipated the movie was to come out, and the soundtrack, which Kendrick was in charge of, made it a whole lot better. Like that Black Panther album still cranks to this day, and is so slept on. And Kendrick does not get the credit he deserves for that album. I bet you if Cole made that album, we would have still been hearing about that shit till this day, and people would have been running with that narrative that that Cole made the best body of work of all time had he made that album. But and that was also during the break that Kendrick took during his hiatus. People forget that like people think that Kendrick just completely stopped making music from Damn all the way up into Mr. Morale. which he didn't because a year later he made the Black Panther album, and then he was helping Baby Keem with his shit, right? But we got to remember how experimental Kendrick was during the Black Panther album because we never heard Kendrick on trap beats like that before. We had never heard because that was Kendrick that was Kendrick that was Kendrick evolving his sound from what he sounded like before. He started because I mean he got on that track. I mean he let Future get on the song with him. He was making so much buzz. Kendrick was getting so much buzz that Future jumped on the song with him. And people don't even get, and this was the time when Future this was the time when Future was in his prime. Future was in his prime in 2017, 2018. So we don't give Kendrick come on, bro. Like you're right. You're right about that. He take way more risk. He takes way more risk in his music, bro, with his sound. And I feel like that's why he takes so long to drop bodies of work cuz he's not just trying to drop just anything, bro. He wants to like, you know what I'm saying? He wants to make sure that like he wants to make sure that that his foot has been put into it, that everything is just like, you know what I'm saying, just right before it comes out, bro. It just doesn't it like nothing he sounds like he's putting out sounds microwave manufactured is all I'm trying to say. Like the fall off here, even though he's worked on it for years, I feel like this was rushed. It just sounds rushed, bro. It sounds very rushed, even though he's been working on this for years. Even though he hasn't put any more work out since Might Delete Later, like that, which was 2 years ago. Like it still sounds rushed. Drake and Cole have okay. Let me read the rest of what you're saying though, Mike, because I'm getting caught because everything you're saying is so profound that I gotta react to it. Um, you said they both huh. uh, um Hold up. Drake and Cole has always seen Kendrick as the best. Really, I don't think either of them wanted to battle Kendrick. I agree with you on that. The Black Panther album is dope. Story goes that they asked Kendrick for one song and he gave them a whole album. Yep, that is right. I forgot about that. And you're right. I did read about that a long time ago. Um, Cole had his run in Kendrick's absence. Uh, he did, and that was another thing they wanted to sweep under the rug too. That like I mean, Cole couldn't even really get on the feature run like that while Kendrick was outside doing this thing. And I feel like Cole, um, I remember around the same time when Damn dropped, Cole was supposed to drop something too around that time. Like all everyone was Cole, Drake, Kendrick, Gambino, all of them was supposed to drop around the same time around 2017. But then Damn dropped. See, people don't like talking about how Damn made everyone push their albums back. Because okay, remember More Life dropped before Damn, but More Life was like that was Drake's first like weak project in his prime. Like More Life is like one of his worst projects he's ever made because I mean it just was. It just wasn't Drake's best body of work at the time, especially how hot he was then. Then Damn dropped a few months later after that. No one, no one, and I mean no one dropped at all the rest of that year after Damn came out. No one dropped at all the rest of 2018. I remember saying this even back then, way before I became like, trying to be a streamer and stuff. I'm like, bro, no one's dropping anything because Kendrick's Damn is still dominating airwaves. And I was saying that in 2018, a year after the Damn album came out. Then he pulls up with that Black Panther album. It really made it hard for people to drop anything. People don't understand. People no, I ain't gonna say people don't understand. People saw it, but they ain't want to say nothing. That when Kendrick was outside back around them times, 2017, 2018, niggas was scared to drop their albums, bro. Because Kendrick was dominated and ain't nobody want to say nothing about it. And then what happened? What happened after a while? What started getting popular? Double albums, not even double albums, albums where collaborative albums started getting popular. That time between Kendrick's Damn dropping and the Black Panther album, no one was trying to do collab albums Kendrick's up until Kendrick's reign around that time started dying down and when he took his hiatus. Then after that, that's when Cole started going to his feature run. Drake was going on his feature run too. So Drake and Cole really went on their biggest feature runs when Kendrick wasn't outside. I'm just being like look at it, bro. Look at it. Drake's best feature runs was 2018, 2019, and 2020. No, because I don't even know what Drake was doing 2020 and 2021. A lot of people wasn't dropping shit then. But Cole, no, now Cole was dropping still. Cole was dropping during the pandemic. Cole was dropping post pandemic. He went on the best feature run you seen any other artist go on. Like I probably the best feature run you ever seen any artist go on. Like even better than I'm talking about even better than Drake's features because J Cole would get on your track and he would just take that shit over. Like look at what he was doing with little songs with Lil Durk. Look at what he was doing with songs with Lil Durk. How hot he was. So yeah, man. Oh man. Oh man. I mean, none of that was possible when Kendrick was outside though. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to just leave that there. You know what I'm saying? Um you said, "Do you know some African tribes use Kendrick's All Right as their tribal anthem?" I think I think I seen that a long time ago. A long time ago. Cuz like we got to remember, bro. Kendrick's catalog is so vast that he doesn't just have like bar heavy music. He has songs that transcend rap and lyricism. We gonna be all right. And I love myself. That I love myself song. That song was just as big as I'm happy by Pharrell. And those songs came out around the same time. We gonna be all right was just as big as Pharrell's Happy. And those songs came out around the same time. Like, bro, like Kendrick really he really he's made big impactful moments time and time and time after again throughout his career. More than you could name any of the other artists that we've named up here. Let's just be real. Drake doesn't have a moment like a control verse. Neither does J. Cole. What else? Like people are still doing think pieces and breakdowns of Mr. Morale, not just DNX, not just GNX. Mr. Morale is still getting studied. Y'all dig me, right? Y'all dig me, man. It's just levels to it, bro. And the levels to it is what a lot of people want to ignore and what a lot of people cannot seem to see, bro. You feel me? Um, you say how many voices and flows do you think Kendrick has? I don't know, bro. It's like um, it's too many, bro. Cause from Section 80 up until now, he switched the flow up on us so many times. Like think of cartoons and cereal with gunplay. Think about how long ago that was. He was doing voice changing and shit like that back then. People want to talk about his voice, people want to talk about his height, but these same motherfuckers who do that were the same people who were Lil Wayne fans back in the day and glazing Wayne for doing the same thing and being the same exact height. They ain't say shit about Wayne being a midget. And him and Kendrick are the same exact height. They ain't say shit about Wayne and how many voices and flows that he exhibited throughout his career. But they have a problem with Kendrick's. This is what I'll be talking about. Selective outrage and nitpicking. Because it's about who you prefer over facts and over common sense. Come on, gang. Come on, gang. Come on, gang. We gotta start sticking we gotta start sticking to what actually is and not to what we want it to be. You know what I'm saying? We need to stick to what it actually is and not what we want it to be all the time. You said Humble is the biggest rap song of all time with 22 million sold. God dang. And it's one of the most recognized songs of all time. You could play that anywhere at any time. People gonna fuck with it. Yo, Sigma, OG Sigma, what's up, man? Salute, bro. Salute. Dang, bro, I have been in here for 3.5 hours just yapping, bro. But it doesn't even feel like it. It doesn't even feel like it. You said 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Yup. 7.62s will make a plank. Um is the size of an AR-15, right? Right, 7.62s, man. And see, a lot of drill rappers talk about 7.62 rounds in their guns. So I was surprised when Kendrick brought that up, and that was peekaboo, right? Yeah, that was peekaboo. Yep. But I mean, Kendrick, he always had a fascination with guns. You could kind of hear that. You could kind of see that on his Mr. Morale cover, his album cover, and you could hear it in some of his song lyrics too. Um, Especially in songs like Triple X on his damn album. Triple X, man, whew, that's a slept on joint too. That's a really slept on joint. Um, and Kobe had seven rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Um, During that 80-point game. Yup, yup, yup. Dang, you right about that. I didn't even know. I didn't see. That's what I'm saying, bruh. That level, that level of lyricism needs to be studied. That's a level of lyricism that's hard to obtain and that a lot of people like J. Cole are envious of. That there's levels to that. This is why Lupe Fiasco, whether he says, "Oh, I love Kendrick," whether he shows that fake love like he said before, around the time the battle was going on, where he was saying that he still loves Kendrick, but he was still trying to defend Drake and shit, bro. This is where the Lupe Fiasco the Kendrick Lamar hate comes from with Lupe Fiasco. It's because Kendrick, no, it's because Lupe was the double, triple, and quadruple entendre king back in his prime. Kendrick don't want to admit it, but Kendrick was definitely inspired by Lupe Fiasco. Come on now. I'm not that big of a Kendrick fan to like. I'm man enough to at least admit that yes, he was definitely inspired and kind of bit off of what Lupe Fiasco was doing. He just had more social wherewithal and it was more socially conscious and wasn't scared to speak of the more socially conscious on his records like Lupe was. This is why Lupe always threw shade to Kendrick. Because Kendrick is doing the exact same thing. Kendrick took Lupe's blueprint and mastered it. Way better than what Lupe could have done with that shit. And it's because Kendrick had balls enough to be like, bruh, fuck this system. I'ma say what the fuck I want. Despite the possibility of being blackballed. But yes, Lupe was the king of triple, double, triple, and quadruple entendres. He was the first rapper that I could understand that kind of rap with. Back when I first was listening to Lupe, this was like around the same time J. Cole started getting on. About around 2007, 2008. Man, I'm rewinding the fuck out of Lupe Fiasco songs back to back because it's like, bro, he said, what? You gotta put this together with this bar and that bar and that bar. Like nobody was doing that before. Then Kendrick came out and he mastered it. And he put it down in a way where the masses can fuck with it. Lupe couldn't do that because he didn't have the mass appeal that Kendrick has. But that 762 bar, I like, bro, that song been out 2 years already, and I'm still picking up stuff from Peekaboo. That's crazy, gang. That is crazy, bro. That's crazy. Hey, good looks on that. Good looks on that, Mike. That was a great that was a great breakdown right there. He said, "Why you think the hip hop community don't give Kendrick credit for his Pulitzer, the highest award any writer can get?" Exactly, bro. Bro, that don't even. Bro. It's because he's the first and only one, and probably be the only one ever to ever do that, bro. These are accolades that even the likes of like people like Jay Z and Nas and OGs like them wish they had, bro. These are accolades that if any other rapper would have had them, that would have been they would have been used against us in arguments. Um, when we have arguments about who our favorite artist is. Give J. Cole 20 how many Grammys does Kendrick have? He like what 26 now? Probably more than that. Give J. Cole those same 26 Grammys. Give Drake those same 26 Grammys and give and swap them with Kendrick. See how many times that see how many more times that numbers and awards would get brought up um to benefit their artist. You know what I'm saying? Than they would if it were Kendrick that we were talking about. Think about how many times you would have to hear a Drake fan say, "Well, Drake got 26 Grammys. What does Kendrick got?" Or a J. Cole fan. Think about how many times you would have to hear that in the argument on who's better if they had the same accolades. Trust me, they would use that against us. So yes, we are going to be bragging about Kendrick's Grammys and his Pulitzer and all his accolades that he's gotten because you would very well use that against us in an argument if they had the same accolades on the table, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. Okay, chat, bro. This has been a hell of a live, bro. But I've been on for 3.5 hours. I have not been on live that long in a long time. Um, man, but I definitely enjoyed the talk, man, and the breakdowns, and we're definitely gonna have more, bro. I just wanted to even the playing grounds here a little bit, man, because it's just a lot of misconceptions and narrative shifting on all sides of the board in everyone's fan base. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta see things for what it really is, guys, and not for what we want them to see them as, bro. Like for real, for real. We can't compare GNX. Oh, we can't compare the fall off to GNX, man. Come on, gang. If y'all weren't comparing might delete later to GNX, bro, y'all can't do that to the fall off, gang. If y'all are enjoying the fall off, then how are y'all then how do y'all hate Mr. Morale so much when they have the same aesthetically sounding type of album? It doesn't make sense to me, bro. And why do you always have to bring down an artist just to lift another one the fuck up, bro? This is what people like me are here for, bro. It's to even the playing ground just a little bit, bro. Cause it's a little bit too much bias out this joint, bro. You feel me? You feel me? I'm gonna read one more of your chats before I leave up out of here, Mike. You said you said Jay, Nas, Eminem give Kendrick the utmost respect. Yup, exactly. Jay said he wanted to be a conscious rapper, but didn't pay bills, but Kendrick changed that. Exactly. And you're right. That's another reason why they hate on Kendrick so much too, because he's the only conscious rapper in history that got up to his plateau, and everyone else is mad that they couldn't do it the same way, in the same manner, with the same accolades. Boo hoo. Okay. Well, guys, I'm about to get up out of here though. I'm definitely gonna get back on. If not tomorrow, I'm definitely gonna get back on this Wednesday. It's definitely gonna be more news on I know it's gonna be more news in these topics coming up, bro. Um, it's just way too many narratives trying to get shift right now for either rappers or commentators or anyone in this space to just remain quiet. Hey man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all one more time for being here. Y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that subscribe button, man. Clip me if y'all are clippers and y'all are watching this, bro. Clip me and put some of the stuff that y'all think that I said that y'all agree with on Twitter or anything, bro. And link it to me in the comment section if you do, bro. Um, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. I love y'all, man. We up out this joint, man. Deuces.